Okay, that's started. Sweet as.
You are live.
We're live. This is, like I said, this is the first one I've managed to live stream onto YouTube. I've done single ones on my own before, and that seems to work okay of a fashion. But I've seen more and more people using StreamYard now, so I had a quick look at it, and it seems easy enough. The whole interface of it seems pretty easy enough to set up, and to get what you get for free, you know what I mean? It's brilliant. So it's worth a try. I tried OBS. Well, that seems way out of my league tech-wise. It's crazy. But what I liked about this is you can multi-platform it. So not only are we streaming on YouTube now, but we're also streaming on my Facebook page, and we're streaming on my Twitch account as well. So we should be good to go. Hopefully it's all working. I've not checked anything, but hopefully it's all working. Let's get some.
Kudos to you, mate, man. You got it going on.
Yeah, it's all trial and error. It really is. It is trial and error. But we've got someone in already, which is a bonus. So.
That is awesome.
Pickup wise, I know you've been at home at the moment. Have you had anything in the last couple of days?
I got a good bit of stuff that's on. I was hoping to get here today, but unfortunately it didn't. So it's probably going to be in either tomorrow or I would say Monday at the latest. But got a good bit of stuff coming in. Man, I lucked up during that first week or two home. I had nothing to do except for hello, gents. Ataku, hey, 77. See you, man. Yeah, I was just buying a bunch of like Arrow video stuff off of eBay, lucking up some really good prices. A couple Vinegar Syndrome, a couple Code Reds, and stuff like that. Very looking forward to getting into Mario Bava's Shock from Arrow Video. I still haven't watched it, but I can't wait to dig into it. And before this escapes me, man, I got to know what your thoughts is on this. So not only did Severin release both of these titles in January, but now 88 Films has just now shipped them out, and they're actually have already got over here to North America. Do you plan on trying to get Delirium or Night of the Demon from 88 Films?
Night of the Demon's probably one of them. Delirium, it's not really my bag.
Okay.
Night of the Demon, yeah. I mean, 88 over here for us, it works really well because I can walk in any HMV store over here and just take it straight off the shelf. And sort of every major town and major city has HMV. You know what I mean? So I can, hello, Crusher. I can pick this stuff up from anywhere. I can pre-order it. Like when I got you the Children of the Corn set, the guy that works in our Wigan branch of HMV, Paul, he put that to one side for me. So I can go in there now, get a pre-order, and not have to pay nothing up front. Normally they take 10% of whatever it costs, but because I know Paul and that now, he doesn't take anything. So I can order stuff for free, which is brilliant.
Even having that hookup that you have, I'm always super jealous of you guys, man, especially across the pond, because you have things like HMV. Do you still have FOP?
FOP, yeah. I mean, FOP is it's a sister company, really. It's owned by the same parent company. Okay. But what FOP tried to sell the more obscure kind of thing. So instead of it being the run-of-the-mill fetch titles, generic pumped out kind of titles, FOP trying to keep it a little bit different. But it's the same basic company, and whatever deals are on at HMV, they're generally the same deals on at FOP as well. Gotcha. But when the Arrow video sale comes on, when it goes 2 for 15 over here, I can always find the more obscure titles in FOP. It's very, very hard to find them in HMV. Like I was after Red Scorpion for ages and could never get it from HMV. Every time it came on sale, it was always out of stock. And just nipped into Manchester one day and just went downstairs into FOP, and there was about 5 or 6 sat there.
And that's Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren, right? The Dolph Lundgren film?
Yes.
That's a favorite, like hands down, man. That is such a great film. It's overlooked.
Yeah, massively. I mean, there's a Arrow window box set as well of that one, which it pops up from time to time on eBay, but I can never get my hands on it for the right money. I know what it should be going for, but it always goes for like £10 and £15 more. and I just begrudge paying it. You know what I mean? It's if I can find it. See what we've got in the UK is a company called CEX.
Okay.
And I bang on about this company all the time on my videos, but they are a company that sells secondhand media, whether that be games, DVD, Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray prices secondhand are always really cheap. You can always get a pretty good deal in there, and if I can find a title in there for sort of £15, for me in the UK, that sets the benchmark of what that title is worth. So you can look on eBay and people have got them on for 20 and 25 quid. Well, if you go to this company, you can get them for 15. And I think people forget that when using eBay. You know what I mean? People just start bidding silly money and going crazy with it. When in theory, they could just look on a retail secondhand site like that and find them for reasonable money.
Gotcha. Usually when I see Red Scorpion, the Arrow Video window set pop up here in North America on the eBay, usually if it's here in the States, it's usually like a buy it now price, usually for anywhere between $60 to $80 if it's a good copy and not, everything's the poster booklet, the window case not mashed and damaged. 50, 60, like $60 or $80 for me, it would probably be like, I don't know, I guess at this point it'd be like, somewhere between like 50 to, I don't know, 40 to 50 GBP for you. So what is that?
Yeah. British pounds, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the big thing at the moment with Vinegar Syndrome doing Drop Dead Fred. I mean, everyone seems to be talking about that title at the moment. I don't actually know what Vinegar Syndrome have done with that release, how much extra features are on it or not. But we have in the UK, we have got a company that released that film probably 2 years back, maybe a little bit longer, and it's like £8 to pick up now, and that thing is just loaded with special features. Now,
Wow.
whether it's the same special features that are going to transfer over it, I'm not 100% sure. Or whether Vinegar Syndrome have found some new stuff, done some new stuff, I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, we've had a copy of Drop Dead Fred for a while, and it's nothing now. It's absolutely dirt cheap to buy.
That's awesome. I will point out one thing though that I know that Vinegar Syndrome definitely put the highlight on, that definitely for people to pick up. I mean, they cashed in on this, but the female lead for that movie actually did an interview with the guys at Vinegar Syndrome so they could put that as a special feature on the disc, and she's not been a part of the film business for what, 2 decades now, I would say. I mean, she's another one who literally, like the chick from Lake Placid, Bridget Fonda, they literally walked out of the film industry and nobody never heard from them again. So things like that is always like, okay, well, that's probably worth the price alone to actually see what she thinks now, looking back.
Yeah.
So many decades. But yeah, that's awesome. You guys have had that, because that's not been the case for us over here. Like, we're usually like going back to our old out of print DVD of that film, So, but as a great title, man. I mean,
yeah, it's superb.
Every time I think just the name Drop Dead Fred, as soon as it comes to my mind, the first thing that I think of is she's got cobwebs. I love it.
It is great. I mean, it's the late great Rick Mail. You know what I mean? Everything that did just turned to gold. It's, you know what I mean? It's fantastic. I mean, I've loads of Rick Mail stuff right behind me here, from stuff like The Young Ones.
Okay.
Which was a TV series he did. And then we've got the full Blackadder set.
Wow. Okay.
That he did, which is really good. And then Bottom that he did with Ed Edmondson, which is probably the best thing that he did. That show is fantastic. He did another one as well, but it's really hard to get hold of, that was called Filthy Rich and Cat Flap. A lot of people don't remember that one, but that's another brilliant show.
Okay.
So the guy was a genius and died way earlier than he should have done. So to get a title like that, because he didn't do that many films, he did loads of TV stuff, but didn't do that many films.
So you'd probably definitely say he did a lot. Did he? He probably did a lot for BBC, right?
Loads, yeah. And sort of cropped up in other people's TV shows as well as, and The guy was a genius, really. I mean, to see his stand up as well as his live show stuff was just crazy.
You know,
Um,
when I was a kid, when I first saw Drop Dead Fred, now, of course, like you, I was introduced to punk rock like really
yeah,
on. And as soon as I saw him in that movie, the first thing that came to my mind was like, is that Johnny Rotten?
yeah, yeah.
So that's just always a memory that I'll always stay with me because I was very well aware of who the Sex Pistols was, loved them as
Yeah.
especially small kid. And I was like, oh my God, man, like I think that's Johnny Rotten.
He's just those punk rock mannerisms that he has. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's brilliant. Let's have a look, see what we've got in the chat. What's the max you would pay for titles? Seems like $40 is the norm for a limited edition nowadays. Yeah, again, back to what we were talking, 88 an Arrow in the UK. The big one for me at the moment is the 4K release of Phenomena. I pre-ordered the Creepers edition with just for the sheer sentimental value of it for me, because that's what it was known as in the UK. It wasn't known as Phenomena in the UK. It was Creepers, and I had that big box VHS that looks exactly the same as what they've done with the 4K release, the purple one with the gold font.
Yes, sir.
With the big box VHS rental in the UK, it looks identical to that.
I
So
remember
it's a big nostalgia kicker for me, that.
Yeah, I remember you sent me a picture of that thing, like when we first started talking. I was telling you, I was like, "That thing is beautiful." Like,
yeah, it's great.
You got to display it properly.
Yeah, it's and I came across that film by sheer chance. In my early teens, obviously, I collected VHS like other people was doing, but as I started earning my own money and that on a weekend, we had a local indoor market. And there's a gentleman there, he sold ex-rental VHS, big box. And every week I used to go down and you could get 3 titles for £10 at the time. But he would also, if you wanted to trade stuff in, swap items, he'd do that as well as. So I'd take films, watch them, not think that much to it, take it back the week after, swap it for something else. And the guy was brilliant. And I got to know him over the years. And I was looking one day and I got 2 titles and I was struggling for a third. And he just went, have you ever tried this? Have you ever seen this? And it was phenomenal. It was Creepers. And I said, not. And at the time, being a big Iron Maiden fan and Motorhead fan and stuff like that, he said, take it, try it, you'll like it. And I put it on and boom, straight away, that was it, done. I mean, the score in general, the score on that film is fucking phenomenal. You know what I mean? It's brilliant.
Absolutely. That was a day that was etched in your memory that'll never go away now.
Yeah. It's one of those sort of things that sat with me over the years, especially VHS. VHS goes. I've watched loads and loads of shit over the years, but that one just always stuck with me.
Now, was that the 86-minute runtime for Creepers? Because that was like the shortest runtime for that film.
The UK release of Creepers of that edition, yeah, it was 86. It was chopped to hell.
I know it.
It's just annihilated, and in some parts, that is heavily cut. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's edited that much. But luckily, we've got that Arrow release now, and it's got 2 cuts of it on there. So
3.
Is it 3? Is it 3 cuts on that one?
Yes, sir. And that 86-minute, I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this thing. That thing moves light and fast.
Yeah, fast.
It's you definitely want the 116 at least. I mean, that's my preference anyway, because you get to see the whole vision of Argento, what he wanted to put on screen. So
yeah. So like $40 for a special edition. I'm trying to think what that equates to in pounds. About 35, give or take.
$1 of ours.
Is it about 1/3? Is it about £1 to the $1.30? I think at the moment, something like that.
Yeah. You guys' money has always been a lot more valuable than the United States American dollar.
Yeah, it fluctuates all over the pound at the moment. I mean, if I'm importing as well, and I'll show you one in a minute that I've imported. If I'm getting it from Europe at the moment, I was getting stuff relatively cheap, the pound against the euro. But it's not there at the moment. It's not as good as it was. Where at one point, you know what I mean, when the euro was up to like 130, 140 to the pound, it was win-win time. But importing something from Europe now has got a little bit more expensive since we came out of the EU.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so £35, $40. It seems to be the norm on these special editions now, and I've no problem with that. I mean, my thing is I cherry pick what I want when I want it anyway. I'm not a buyer for buying's sake. I only buy what I want and what I need. So £35 for Creepers when that comes out, I don't mind that at all. And I've not bought many special editions recently anyway. The few and far between.
Oh,
It's
I
still
think we
there.
lost signal.
Yeah, it's gone a little bit, I think. Let's see if it comes back.
There we go.
There we go.
Sorry about that, mate.
No, you're all right. These things happen.
Yep. Technical difficulties, man. Yeah, definitely here, man. Back to the cost of it. I mean, anything that's limited edition, as long as it's it's a limited edition of one film and it's not a trilogy, that seems to be like that $35, $40 range. But I'm seeing a few that's coming in that's a little bit higher than that. Well, everything's getting more expensive. I've said that now for a good while. Everything's like usually like a Scream Factory release here will be like $28. We're about to hit that $30 mark here in no time. Same thing with Vinegar Syndrome. Those are like $27.99. By the end of the year, we'll all be sitting at that $30 mark because I mean it's happened before. They've had to raise the price, due to business, so it'll happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think the one thing for us, special edition wise, over here, where sort of prices are being kept real and affordable, is 101. 101 special editions over here. What they do for the money is nothing apart from a miracle, really. I mean, when you can look at something like Prom Night,
yeah, man,
and look at what they did with that, with the booklet,
that is beautiful.
It's fantastic. And then the release, I think it's 2 discs. Oh, no, it's not, single disc. And then that artwork in there as well.
It's beautiful. Absolutely.
And they're like £15-16. So, you know what I mean? It's for what you're getting for your money, what 101 are doing. It's brilliant. So that's one of the reasons that why I collect from them, because it's affordable, but you're getting good bang for your buck as well.
Rose up again, did.
Yeah, Crusher. The 101 do some fantastic stuff. Turn some absolute brilliant titles out. I mean, there's no real titles of their own. Everything that 101 do is a transfer of somebody else's. So a lot of this stuff's a Vinegar Syndrome, so it's Scream Factories. But it's not. You get nice presentation with what they do at a budget price. Really, I mean, you're getting a lot for your money. Oh, we've lost Johnnie. We'll keep going till he comes back. UK boutique. Well, the UK boutique Blu-ray labels have been kicking the US's labels ass. The Asian cinemas and such. Henry Pacheco, Silico, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it swings and roundabouts. When I look at the stuff that Johnnie shows, and some of the other guys at shows, like Alan over at Pop's Movie Dungeon, Brian at Brian Goes Blue. If you watch what they're sort of showing over there, some of those titles that they're getting in over there, I mean, we really struggle to get in the UK. I mean, if you look what Vinegar Syndrome's putting out at the UK, where are you back? just answering this question now about he's saying that the UK boutique labels are kicking the US's stuff at the moment. I don't really think that's. I don't know if that's the case or not. It's Alex said, what the stuff that Vinegar Syndrome turns out, we just do not get over it. Those titles don't appear. Now, I've got loads of the titles that Vinegar Syndrome released on old DVDs up here, and you'll see a couple of my videos talking about them, and they're in the droves of this old DVD stuff. And Vinegar Syndrome seems to be putting those out slowly but surely. But we've never had a Blu-ray release. Like Ticks, for example. I've got the Prism Legend DVD of Ticks up there. It's worth about a tenner on DVD in the UK at the moment, that particular release. There is no Blu-ray of it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So we, and it's cool as fuck.
Not to mention I don't know how it is. We never got True Lies on a 4K yet, but we got Ticks on 4K.
Ticks. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. But it's a solid release, man. But you know what? In all fairness, though, man, especially for being a boutique collector like here in the States, I will say that most of the time that especially with like let's say Arrow Video limited editions, Indicator, 88 films, and all that stuff, the presentation is a lot better than what we get here in North America. I mean, you look at like Screen Factory stuff, 9 times out of 10, it's just a Blu-ray case over a slipcover. Arrow Video will pop out a limited edition set of like this gem right here, and you can't beat it because it's packed full. I mean, give you everything that you could possibly want to be a fan of that film in a box. And we normally, it's very rare that we get releases, especially of that magnitude like that.
Yeah, it's weird, especially this day and age. I mean, I suppose Crusher's got it right with this next question he's popped up here. And yeah, if you do look at the Vinegar Syndrome, it mainly is region free. It's A, B, and C. There's a lot of it that I have seen. The bits and bats that I do come across it in the UK, because we do not get new release titles. I've only ever seen Vinegar Syndrome in the wild in the UK secondhand. I have never ever seen it new. And that's great that you don't need a multi-region player. It'll play off all regions, but it costs a hell of a fortune to get it sent over here. You know what I mean? And when half of your budget is postage and packaging, it makes an expensive do.
Absolutely. I will say though that as far as Vinegar Syndrome, not all of it is region free. Unfortunately, we got to 2020, and let's say about 85% of it is fairly. It's 85% of their product now is region free. Unfortunately, there is a few titles though that has those publishing rights restricted. So there is a few of them.
Well, Criterion. Yeah, I mean, Criterion in the UK with shit. Really, it's overpriced. The catalogue of titles is really, really low. I would say there's probably a quarter of what's available than what's available in the US. There is next to nothing that's worth having on the Criterion age, unless you're into that kind of sort of filmography, which I'm just not. It's just not my cup of tea. There's the odd one or two on Criterion that I've got, like of Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky's a decent release. I've got Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's a decent enough release. The Blob, that's an okay transfer. It's got a couple of decent bits on, but not much. And then Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead's a decent release, but I don't like the way it's packaged in like that really thin digipack. So I tend to try and keep away from Criterion. I don't really do that much. There is a UK seller on eBay that you can get them from. All right, Chris, I mean, I'll have to have a look, mate. I'll have to have a look. It's like I said, not everything that Vinegar Syndrome does is my cup of tea. But there's a couple of titles that's in there that I wouldn't mind. So that's probably what they're looking to. I mean, Johnnie very kindly sent me over a copy of the of Beastmaster a couple of months back, which looks fucking brilliant in 4K. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right that Criterion are looking at it from that point. Just bear with me a second. Johnny's having internet trouble. Yeah, and the price point with Criterion always puts me off a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not the cheapest label to buy for. It can be quite expensive. I mean, every now and again, HMV will have the 2 for 25 on selected titles. I don't know why they don't run the 2 for 25 across the board. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the last time I purchased anything off them was on the 2 for 25, which would have been Fast Times and Jabberwocky. Yeah, I mean, Beastmaster's crazy. I mean, you can just see it above my head here. There, that bit of a red spine. That's it. No, I ain't a slipcase chaser at all. To be honest, I don't really like slipcases. They're just not my cup of tea. But that slip on the Beastmaster is fucking beautiful. It's really, really nice. Nice quality, nice artwork. For a film from that era and of its quality, Vinegar Syndrome have done a brilliant job with it. It's one of those that I don't understand that obviously it's sold really well. Why other companies have not jumped onto the whole sword and sorcery thing, started pumping some more of it out. It would definitely sell. You know what I mean? That sold brilliantly. So it looks like Johnny's having real internet issues. Don't worry about it, mate. Just jump back on when you can, if you can. So we'll have a look at a couple of pickups that I've grabbed this week. I've had 3 come in this week, all slightly different to each other. Well, the first one is I've been after this film for ages, and there's never been a UK release of it, and it's a really, really good film. It didn't get the love it deserved, I don't think, really. And that is Star Chaser, Legend of Orin. Anyone who's ever seen this film knows it's an absolute blatant Star Wars ripoff. It's complete Star Wars ripoff, but it's done nicely. It's done in good taste. Animation style's really, really good. Like I said, storyline's decent in it as well. And it's one of those films I always liked and saw it on VHS when I was younger, but for some reasons never had an official UK release. So this sort of popped up on eBay last week. It's a US import for next to nothing. So I put a little cheeky bid on it, and we got it for about £6, I think. Nice orange case as well, in mint condition. It's relatively just like new, really. If you've never seen that, and you like an animated film from the 80s, check that out. Star Chaser, Legend of Orin, pretty good. Crusher says they need more Source of Sorcery movies on Blu-ray and DVD. You're right, Paul. I mean, I've got countless Sword and Sorcery films on DVD. I've got a video down below. If you have a look down below, I've got a video up there showing my Blu-ray collection off of Sword and Sorcery films. There's quite a few. There's a lot more. Thanks to Johnnie. He sent me obviously Beastmaster, and he also sent me a copy of The Barbarians, which is not available over here, which was a Canon film. But DVD wise, I've got loads. Films like Ator, Deathstalker. 100 is the biggest one that I picked up recently. I bought a limited edition DVD box set of 100, which weren't available in the UK. That's on an import as well. That was really expensive, but that's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful edition. Really good film as well. It's a film that doesn't get talked about enough. It's a classic film. So a lot of it is fucking tripe and the sword and sorcery stuff. It's garbage, but it's garbage that I love. It's the stuff I grew up with. It's so I have a soft spot for it. There we go.
All right. There's a lot of technical difficulties over here, man.
Yeah, man. It's having to fire that ping a long distance.
Yeah, we definitely got some distance, but for some reason my service is just dropping altogether. So it's a fight. Has its moments.
In the chat, they've just been talking about sword and sorcery stuff. Really, like I said, you sent me the copy of Beastmaster over, which is fucking that 4K of it, mate. It is fucking quality. Quality. It's a long thing from my. Well, let's see if I can grab it. It's a long way from the copy that I had, this is the one that I had to deal with for years and years and years, which was a Spanish import. So this was a legitimate release. But I can get the damn thing out. Can you tell on the back of that?
Yep, that's burned.
It's burned on demand. Burned on demand, Spanish import, and that was it. That was it for Europe. I think there was a German release, which I think this is from the German release. So that was the only way to own it in the UK. I've got it on DVD, but on Blu-ray, that was the only way to get it. So the step up, even the step up on the Blu-ray on that box set, never mind the 4K, is a massive step up for that.
You can tell too, especially for the special features on that release, the amount of collaboration that Vinegar Syndrome and Don Coscarelli both had together to work together to put out that release is phenomenal. I mean, it's you don't get much better than that, because I mean he oversaw everything, the transfer, interviews, the whole 9 yards, commentaries. So
yeah, because the obviously that Spanish edition had just nothing on it. And the DVD edition that I've got had very little. I think there was a trailer on there, and I think there might have been a commentary, but it wasn't much, and that was about it. So for Vinegar Syndrome to pick a title like that and do a title like that, I mean, that is it's going out for it, really, because it's not everyone's cup of tea. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a niche market, is the old sword and sorcery. It can be an odd one.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody can find something to have fun with it, though. You can sit back with a few beers and watch that stuff with your buddy.
Oh yeah.
It's great stuff.
Crusher says, we looked at that one. Are you getting the Sword and Sorcerer film? Again, it's a US release. I'm hoping, with it being the kind of film it is, and it being a Shout Factory release, that we will get it in some form or another in the UK. I would like to think that 101 may pick it. 101 take loads of transfers off Vinegar Syndrome and Shout Factory. Loads. I mean, everything that comes out is from one of them companies through 101. And at the moment, they're doing a lot with Agfa as well. But I would hope that someone we got the 4K of it over here.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, don't even sweat that, man. That's easy for me to get, man, and send right your way, man. So
cool, sweet.
It's 4K, so you don't have to worry about no region locks.
No region locking. That's it.
You got the best of it right there. So don't even sweat that. I got that for you.
Cool. Thank you, Mama. Crusher says, yeah, I just picked that movie up on the DVD, Prism Leisure. Yeah, I mean, again, that Prism Leisure, Grace, you can go back to them videos I've got on my channel. There's about 6 of them Prism Leisure videos. Prism Leisure were fantastic at turning that kind of stuff out. I mean, I suppose they were the Anchor Bay of the day in the UK, Prism Leisure. They was picking low-grade film up, low-budget film at the early days of DVD and just banging it out for fun, and it was dirt cheap. And some of this stuff now is going for crazy money on DVD in the UK because there's no other way to get it. Ticks is one. Ghost Chase is another. For some reason, Ghost Chase was a fucking god-awful film. But the only way to get it is this DVD release of it in the UK. That's it. And it looks like it's a VHS port. They've done nothing with it. It's still in 4:3, just still banged onto a DVD, but it goes for daft money.
Gotcha.
But Prism Leisure were brilliant at it. And like I've seen Crusher's a couple of videos that Crusher put on his channel because he collects the Prism Leisure DVD stuff, and you can pick it up relatively cheap. And then every so often you'll find a title and it's just going for crazy money. So that kind of stuff is like what you class as a flea market over there, or we class as charity shopping over here, or car boot sailing, and people not knowing what they've got and selling it for peanuts. That's what you're really looking for with that kind of stuff.
You're just hoping for luck.
Yes, all the time. All the time. I did find a copy of Dagon. Now, they released Dagon. It was one of the last DVDs they put out. And I found it on a car boot sale in last summer. And the guy had a massive stall of pre-owned DVDs. And it was all 40 pence each. Every film, every title was 40 pence each. So I was picking titles up and I'm scanning them with my phone, and this guy's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I've got to pay him, and I give him a couple of pounds, and he takes them on there. And he goes to me, "What was you doing with your phone then?" I said, "I was scanning the QR code on the back." And he said, "What for?" I said, "I was checking out what price it was going for." He sort of looked at me. I said, "Well, this one I've just bought for 40 pence is going for a tenner." And he went, "Fuck off." I went, "No, seriously, mate. It's going for £10. You've just bought it off you for 40 pence. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't find it very often, but when you do, you know what I mean, fill your boots.
There you go, man. Grab it while you got the chance.
Yeah,
that luck doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't, not at all. So again, going down the lines of Les Senor Beastmaster, one of the other pickups this week, I think this came in yesterday, and again, this is the only way I can get a copy of this film at all in the UK. And this was, again, Spanish import. It's Fright Night 2.
Gotcha.
Fright Night 2, I mean, I've got the Fright Night, the Eureka release, which is fucking perfect. It's fantastic. This film, for some reason, I don't know why, it never had a Blu-ray release. Really odd. And it's a decent film. It's a good film. But for some reason, yeah, the Spaniards liked it enough to release it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same story here in North America, man. We've begged for Fright Night 2 forever and never got it. I had to go this route. I had to go for a bootleg, burned on kind of thing. They put Eureka's Fright Night in there, and then you got Fright Night 2, which is 1080 to be all fair, and it's done great. Just unfortunately, it comes to a good amount of special features or an actual label putting it out with some goodies. We don't have that yet. So
yeah, I mean, does it give you the excuse me? Does it give you the information on the back of that Fright Night 2 that you've got? Because there's every possibility it's this transfer. It's this. It says video 1080p, 235 to 1 widescreen, DTS HD 2.0, and a Dolby Digital 2.0.
Same thing, man.
Yeah, I bet it's that. I bet it's a clone of that.
I bet it is. It's it looks like it's from something called Movie Night series.
I don't see the back on this.
But as you can definitely see right here for the Blu-ray right here of Fright Night 2. I mean, it's definitely like it's a burned on demand kind of thing. If I can get it out, They put it in a really good case, I will say that, but it's definitely a burned on demand kind of thing, and you can just tell it by the back of the disc.
Yeah.
Got that dark tone to it.
But, yeah, they're sort of like a purpley color, aren't they?
But I think I found somebody on eBay that was selling it for like $15 or $20, and at the time I was getting both Fright Night 1 and 2, and there's a third disc in there, which is a DVD disc for the special features of Fright Night, and it's got some stuff on it. So at the time, that was same story with this. This is the only way I ever got this title on Blu-ray, was a bootleg before Vestron got a hold of it and gave it an official Blu-ray release. That was it, man. Maximum Overdrive. So
yeah, I think that one cost £9. That was including the delivery from Spain as well, so that wasn't too bad on that one.
Yeah, not bad.
No, not bad at all. What have we got in the chat? I've had a hard time going back to DVD after getting spoiled with HD quality, unless there's absolutely no way. Get rid. It's as weird as it sounds, and for all the technology in this house and 4K TVs and 4K players and you name it, I still don't have much of an issue with DVD. In fact, I have a bit of a soft spot for it. And sometimes when I'm buying these newer titles and they've had new Blu-ray releases and I put them in and I know the film pretty well and I watch it and there's just something that niddles at the back of my mind and it going, looks too clean, this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And again, it's that whole nostalgia thing of watching it like a piece of shit on a VHS as a kid. You pop a Blu-ray in and you go, oh, hold on a minute. And it looks brilliant. You know what I mean? It sounds brilliant. But so I've still got a bit of a nostalgia thing for DVD. Because there's still tons of it here. There's tons and tons of it. Especially if you want TV shows in the UK, you ain't getting anything on Blu-ray. It's all DVD.
There we go. Trying it again.
Yeah, it's good.
We use on the subject of that too. I could definitely have. I got a similar experience. Like I'll watch any of the new Blu-ray releases we have of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have a huge soft spot for that VHS I had when I was a kid, and I still have it. There's just something about that movie. It just feels like it's more grittier and grimier if you watch it and it looks like a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, and I'll show you them, and this is the sole reason that I still collect them. And people laugh at me. I'll pick a few out. This is only a few. Is the Vipco Scream Time releases. So all this stuff was put out by Vipco. There's absolutely loads and loads. I think there's 47 in this line that Vipco put out. So
wow.
Island of Death, Death Trap, City of the Living Dead, House by the Cemetery. On the bottom of most of them, it says digitally remastered. That is a load of fucking nonsense. There is no digital remaster going on any of these. These are straight VHS ports. You know what I mean? But I absolutely love it for them. You know what I mean? It's and there's no special features. There's nothing on them. You know what I mean? But these can be picked up for a couple of quid. They're really inexpensive to buy. There's a couple that are really expensive at the moment. And I've got 3 of the more expensive ones, but the more expensive the film, the shitter it seems to be.
Gotcha. Speaking of Island of Death, I literally just got to watch that movie for the first time a couple months ago, and I gotta say, man, I had no idea what I was in for. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Cushy says it's in the same way for a lot of the martial arts action movies like Cynthia Rothrock's movies and Don the Dragon Wilson's movies. It's, you know what I mean? All that Cynthia Rothrock stuff, you know what I mean? It looks like it was shot on 8mm, 16mm. It's fucking terrible, but it's still good. It's the whole nostalgia thing with it, I think. And I think that's why I like it. So I've still got loads of it. As much as I like all this Blu-ray stuff, and I love it for the special features. I love it for the way it sounds, the way it looks, the 4K presentation on the new stuff. It's fantastic. But I've still got this nostalgia thing for old DVD and VHS. There's some VHS. I mean, there's one sat right here that's recently been kicking about. Big box of Rambo 3. You know what I mean? It's like...
It's like a staple of time that we could go back to and revisit
Yeah, yeah.
that moment. So it's that's a special thing, man, to hold on to for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for a long, long time, certain films on VHS was the only way you was getting to see them in the UK, because stuff just wasn't coming to DVD at all at one point, especially the early days. So, like In the Mouth of Madness, I kept that VHS till about 2008, 2009, before we even got a copy even on DVD over here.
Gotcha.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then
We got our Blu-ray from Screen Factory. I think that was like 2018, 2019. So
yeah,
we were holding on to the DVD for that one for a long time.
yeah, it is odd. So I got Fright Night 2. I showed a couple of people before as before you when you come back in. I don't know if you've ever seen. Obviously, you know I'm into my 80s stuff and I'm into my 80s animation and cartoons. A film called Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin was one that I remember from a kid. It's an absolute Star Wars ripoff, complete Star Wars knockoff. It's how they never got sued for it. I do not know. But it holds up. It's a good story. The animation's brilliant on it. The voice acting's really good. And again, this was never available in the UK. I've had to get a US import on this, so I can get it in there without everything.
Well,
So to see with that ring on it.
Oh, so it's an animated film. Okay.
Yes, yeah. It was pre-owned, but it's like new. So I'll be checking that out this weekend. Now, my last pickup for this week. There should have been some other stuff coming in, but it's not turned up in time. But do not judge me for this. What I'm about to show, do not judge for it. And this is the only way I can get this film. There is no other way of getting this film. But it is Michael Jackson's 25th anniversary of Thriller, the CD. But in this CD, there is a DVD. And that DVD has got Thriller on it.
Okay.
And that is the only way to get a copy of Thriller on DVD in the UK.
Gotcha. Hey, by all means, you
know what I mean?
Explore any route you got to get what you want.
And that cost me the princely sum of £1. So, you know what I
mean? That's the way to go, man.
Yeah. Hours and hours of eBay searching that. I've always been puzzled by the Laserdisc collectors out there. Why go backwards? But nostalgia could explain it. Yeah, it's probably the same thing. I mean, I believe some of that. See, I've never been a big Laserdisc thing. It was never massively a thing in the UK. It was available, but it never really took off. But I believe certain films on Laserdisc were the only way to see the original cuts at one time.
Super expensive here too, man.
Right.
I never even got into. I don't think I've ever bought maybe just for a presentation purpose, like just to display it. I'd maybe bought one too. But as far as having a player, they were always expensive. It was hard to find the films that I wanted, so I just never got into it. It was just I'll stick with my VHS, and then DVD came along, and that changed everything.
Yeah. It's I mean, I can remember the first DVD player I got. It would have been about 99, 2000 when they started coming to the mainstream in the UK. And I can still remember the first film I bought for it. The first film was Seven, and I've still got that copy of Seven. It was a really, really good release. And then obviously you just chase technology. I mean, I went balls deep into HD DVD. I really sold myself into HD DVD, and I thought that's the way everything was going. And then 2 years down the line, it was defunct. So I've got all this stuff and a Toshiba player, and then I just sold the job lot pretty much for next to nothing just to buy myself into Blu-ray.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's Star Wars ripped off the Hidden Fortress. Hidden Fortress. Do I know that one?
Never seen it.
No, I don't think I have. I'm not sure what Hidden Fortress is. What else have we got here? Betamax anyone. But it's
We were talking about 101 Films just a while ago. Have you had a chance to watch this one yet?
Uncle Peckhead, no, it's still on sale at the moment, and I have been meaning to pick it up. There's been that on sale in the UK, Pledge Night, and there's another one. I think they're about £6 or £7 at the moment.
Pledge Night is pure gold. You will love it. Like, have you ever seen it?
No, never seen it. Never seen it.
Vinegar Syndrome put it out about maybe 3-4 years ago, give or take. That is a great movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of cheese, but I'm telling you, like, I got a soft spot for that one right there. Now, I bought that one on a whim. I think I'd watched it on a streaming service because I knew 101 Films had put it out. And I was like, let me watch it right quick and I'll grab a copy if it's good. I watched it and I immediately bought it. I was like, it's a lot of fun. It's basically like a punk rock band going around on tour, and the shit that they get into in that movie is just not really expensive, high budget kind of stuff, but it's great. You can have a lot of fun with that. So.
The good thing as well with 101 is it's that cheap to pick up now in the UK that even if you do pick a title up and it's not your cup of tea, you're always going to be able to sell it on again for the virtually the same money you bought it for. So a lot of this stuff, when it's on sale, goes between £5 and £8, and it's next to nothing. 101 do 2 sales a year, normally one about mid-year, normally one coming into winter time. The older titles, it looks like a lot of that stuff's out of print now. It's gone by the way, but like the red label stuff like Uncle Peckerhead and stuff like that, all that's still in print. And the black label stuff, apart from the special edition stuff, which is most of that's gone now. The standalone standard edition black label stuff, that's still available. But the stuff like the cult movie classics, cult movie collection stuff, like that, it's easy to get hold of on eBay, but 101 no longer stock it on their website.
Gotcha.
And again, all this is if you look on these, that'll be a Shout Factory release. You can always tell with the 101 film of these when you put it in, it comes up with the 101 logo, and then it can come up with whoever did the restoration from it all the time.
Yep.
But the relatively inexpensive, you know what I mean? Anybody that's looking to start a collection, you can't go wrong with 101. You know what I mean? They've turned some good films out, especially like me. If you're a big 80s nerd and a big 80s collector, you've got loads and loads of choice on this label. It is fantastic for it. And all this stuff now on eBay, under £5 and £6, you know what I mean? It's... And there's nothing to them, you know what I mean? They're quite plain, quite basic. There's very, very little, if any, special features on any of them. I mean, I think the only one of that range that's got special features is Lord of Illusion, I think.
Lord of Illusion. Cloud Barker.
Yeah. That's a 2-disc set they put out. There's 2 cuts of the film on that one.
Yeah.
But that was probably that was a Screen Factory release, yeah. But like I said, I saw Pop picking stuff up. I saw Pop picking like Nemesis up the other day. Like Nemesis again is on 101. I know he was chasing those slips, weren't he? Was that MVD?
Yep.
That he was looking for on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's another great red label release right there.
Yeah, I've got that one too. That's fantastic.
The uncut version too, man. So you can't go wrong with it.
No. We've got my brother in the chat. How do? This stream almost looks professional. Well, you'd be quite right, Dean. It does look professional.
I'm going to actually pop one in tonight that I've never seen. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I've heard it referenced now for forever and a day. Just for some reason, I never watched it, but I got it in from 101. I'm going to pop it in tonight just to see what it's about. That's the new kids.
It's a great film.
There you go.
Yeah. Brilliant film. Good release. Sort of starts off as one thing, ends up as another. A little bit of a slow burner. Takes a while to get going, but once it does get going, it is really good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at the artwork on that, I kind of noticed, is that the same girl that's in Full House? She looks younger, but it looks like the same woman from Full House. I just don't know her name. I think she played like Jesse's wife or girlfriend or something in Full House.
Laurie Lonigan.
I think she
I'm not
didn't. She
sure.
just. I think she just went to jail not too long ago because she was like trying to bribe some college to let her daughter in or something. That
Right.
like a long time. Like she went some illegal a round of like giving them money to accept her daughter into some kind of college, and that was like illegal or something. I don't know the whole story.
Right.
I remember seeing her on TMZ, and I'm like, that Full House chick's going to jail.
What are we up to with the chat? Let's have a look. Crusher, the Quest by Van Damme. Yeah, that's on 101 as well. Good action movie. It's a later film. It's one of Van Damme's later ones. I've got a thing with Van Damme where the really early stuff I like, then everything off the back of that is pretty much garbage. It's the newer Van Damme stuff is just fucking terrible.
Well, we got to take into consideration too that a lot of the Van Damme stuff that we like the older stuff compared to the new stuff, Van Damme didn't do as much cocaine.
Well, there's the have you ever seen the sort of like documentary film that he does about himself?
Yep.
Is it called JVCD? The one where he's in the post office and he gets held up. It's crazy. There's a scene halfway through the film and he's been taken hostage in this post office and they've got a gun to him and he just has like some kind of emotional breakdown on camera and like a chair lifts him up outside of the set. So he's got up into like the gods of the studio and there's lights and everything and has like a breakdown on camera for about 12 minutes, just sobs his heart out. He's crying, there's snot, there's everything. And then the chair lowers him back down. He's back on scene and then the film starts again. And you go, what is that? It's just crazy, mate. Crazy.
And that was just out of the blue. That wasn't like...
Yeah, it was like, it looks like it's the whole scene was supposed to happen, but then he just had some kind of meltdown in front of the camera.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what they say, man? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. He's obviously enjoying himself. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But the early stuff I love, you know what I mean? And I'm an absolute whore for Cannon films. And Cyborg, for me, is probably the best film that he did.
There you go. This one's for you, man.
There you go. It's fucking Invasion USA on the front there. That's over the top as well. Is that Stallone over the top? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. It's just anything to do with Cannon films that I'm in both feet. It's but like I said, the Van Damme stuff. Again, 101 put a selection out. I mean, 88 films have been hitting it hard in the UK at the moment with the Van Damme stuff, and weirdly for 88 films, they've gone for titles that were like easier to get hold of, or Hard Target. I mean, Double Impact, Knockoff. What's the one that's like? Does he get cloned in it or something like that? What's that one called?
I know exactly what you're talking about too. I'm just trying to. It's escaping me right now.
Yeah, I mean, 88 films could not give that film away. Every time there was a bit of sale on 88 films, that film has been on sale. It was on sale after the first couple of weeks it came out. They just could not get rid of it because it's a stinker. You know what I mean? Gotcha. But then 101 dropped that. You know what I mean? And put AWOL, Death Warrant, and Black Eagle. You know what I mean? On a set, and it's like I think that's about a tenner. You know what I mean?
It's amazing too to see not only that they're throwing out so much JVC titles, man, but Jesus, the Jackie Chan titles that rolled out all at once from 88. Eureka was also spitting a few of them out. That was insane. I guess they got all the. I guess they was like just dipping in, and each company was just grabbing a handful of titles for each company, and I was just like, wow, like they must have licensed all those films at the same exact time because they rolled them all out at the same exact time.
Yeah, it's as much as I like a martial arts film, and I do like a martial arts film, the Jackie Chan stuff I always struggled with. Like 88 just put out that big set in the UK of Armor of the Gods, and it's a beautiful set. It's really nice poster in there. There's a little booklet in there. It's a good set, but I don't particularly like the film that much,
Got
and I can't throw £35 down at something that's like, you know what I mean? It's so. For me, I'm surprised a lot of these companies just haven't picked up on a lot of the old ninja stuff, especially the 80s ninja stuff, because there was absolutely loads of it. But they all seem to go down this route of the proper old school hardcore sort of kung fu flicks, and it didn't always do it for me. I mean, I can watch a Bruce Lee film. I like a Bruce Lee film, but some of the old ninja stuff, I was wending to films like Ninja Apocalypse and stuff like that. But yeah, just the whole martial arts things at the moment is with these boutiques has just gone crazy.
just blew them up out of the water, and it came out of nowhere too. It just, I mean, we got the hints, we got the little acronym list that kept leaking from all these companies, and it was just like, wow, like you guys are really gonna roll all these films out at once, like they do it. But there's a market for it. There's somebody out there who wants every single one of those titles, and they got them.
Yeah, the Bloodsport with a decent transfer, please. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think 88 will get round to doing it. I think they're getting all the shit out of the way first, and they'll save the better films to last. I can really see that happening. So, Kickboxer, Bloodsport.
And
I think you'll find that they'll be the back end of the Jean-Claude Van Damme run.
And those will definitely receive like that limited edition,
Yeah.
really nice stuff in the box kind of releases too, because those are big titles you just rattled off right there. So
yeah,
I mean, Bloodsport and Kickboxer alone, those are like the two most probably well-known Van Damme films you're probably ever going to put in your player. So
yeah, definitely. The ones that 88 have done over here with the slips on, the slips have been really funny. They're like a funny metallic slip,
okay,
and they scuff and mark like crazy. They do not sit well. They're an odd slip. Hold on, I've got one here. Hold on. Like Street Fighter.
okay,
But it's got like it's hard to, it doesn't pick it up that well. It's got like a metallic film on the slip, and it does not sit well. It scuffs. So I've seen these brand new on the shelf, and they've been marked on the slips because they're a really weird material. And all the Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff got released like that because they were all numbered releases as well. So I think it was all limited to 3,000.
gotcha.
In the UK. I mean that isn't even a good film. I say it's guilty pleasure, but I don't think there is such thing as guilty pleasure. I think you either like it or you don't like it. And I like Street Fighter. It's a decent enough film. It's not brilliant, but it's all right. But I picked that up for next to nothing. I think I give about £5 for that.
Gotcha.
That was another title that didn't sell out. Replicant. That's the one I was thinking of. 88 films cannot give that away. You know what I mean? It's a bad film.
It's definitely going to be in the next few sales, probably for the next year or two.
Easily. It's been in the last 2 sales that we've had over here. You know what I mean? Van Damme action movies collection by 88 films, Blu-ray collections are great. Yeah. If it's like I say, if you like that early Van Damme stuff, the sort of like middle of the road stuff, Legionnaire and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's all right. I think at that kind of point is when I started to zone out a little bit with Van Damme. It's like you said, the no blood sports and the no kickboxers. I think that was the biggest problem. But Cyborg, I do love Cyborg. Even though that was the film that I think finished Canon Films off altogether.
Not to mention, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of course, we've all heard that story before, but we know the problems that was on set while that movie was being filmed. But those were the days where people actually died making action movies. You know what I mean? So it's a sad story, but it's true, though.
It is. American Ninja movie collection is great, apart from the 5th movie. Yeah, I mean, didn't 88 put the 4-disc collection out of American Ninja 1 to 4? I'm almost sure that 88 put that out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like the first one. The second one's okay. Can't say as I've ever seen the 3rd or the 4th. But they were just, those kind of ninja movies were just turned out for fun, weren't they, at that particular time?
Is that anything to do with like Ninja 3, The Domination, or anything like that?
No, that is. Oh, which one is that one now? That is another. That's. Oh, you got me thinking now.
I know
yeah, Shokazugi, that one, isn't it? Ninja 3. I can't think what franchise that's what comes from.
Let me see if I got it up here. It's there we go. That's the they've released it twice, but that's their newest release right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's I can't think what the 2 previous films are to it.
And to be honest with you, I've maybe have popped this in when I got the original release, because they didn't release this as a collector's. They did another scan for it. And I'll be honest with you, I have a hard time remembering anything in this movie, but it's
like a weird, it's like a weird possession film, isn't it? Shokazugi possesses the body of the woman that's on the front.
Yep. And there's a lot of cheese to this movie.
God, yeah, loads of it. Yeah. It's but American Ninja is. I can't think of the guy's name. Hold on a second. Michael Dudikoff. So it's Michael Dudikoff and Steve James. Michael Dudikoff did Avenging Force, and Enter the Ninja is the one that is. So there's Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and then Ninja 3, that one. I think that's how it goes.
Okay.
But Michael Dudikoff did loads of sort of cheese fest action films in the 80s.
Now, you said as far as American Ninja go, there's 4 films of that?
According to Crusher, there's 5, but I've only heard of 4. I didn't know there was a 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, Street Fighter the movie. Here we go. It's so bad, it's great. Yeah, it is. It's but it does what it says on the tin. It's not telling you this is going to win any Oscars or anything. It's telling you this is an absolute cheese fest.
Yeah.
But you like it for it. You know what I mean? It bears no resemblance of the game, like most films that spawn from games. They're never anything like them. But I still like it for it. It's pretty good.
It's another thing where it's kind of like similar to like the film Super Mario Brothers. Like, there should be stickers on all those films that says "goes well with 6 to 7 pints."
Yeah. It's that's on my want list at the moment. Believe it or not, is Super Mario Brothers. That was put out by Second Sight over here.
It's fun. You can relive a little bit of your childhood a little bit. Because we were all kids when that came out. We were like, "Oh my God, they're going to make a movie on it. We got to see it." So it's just one of those. Yeah, things. I mean, we went to go see it, and it was nothing like the video game. It was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I got done with Masters of the Universe. You know what I mean? Being a kid, I went to watch Masters of the Universe at the cinema. You sit down, dead excited. Fucking, this is going to be brilliant. You come out and you go, what the fuck was that? That's not He-Man. The fuck? You know what I mean? It's like, so I was like disappointed for about 3 years with it. And then going back to it as an adult and watching it now, I fucking love it. It's great. It's a brilliant film. You know what I mean? It's how taste change, and as a kid, he was expecting what he was expecting because it's what you knew. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I think there's probably been loads of video game adaptations like that. The Resident Evil films. I like the Resident Evil films. There's nothing wrong with them. Do you know what I mean? Disengage your brain, put it in your player, and away you go. And the great films for it, but they're nothing like the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Michael Dudikoff is in American Ninja 3. and ninja movies 1, 2, and 4. Yeah, he got about. Did Michael Dudikoff? He could make a cheesy film, but again, Steve James was in a lot of that stuff with him. Trying to think some of the other Steve James movies. A hell of a lot of ninja movies. POW The Escape, if you ever remember that one. Obviously, there was a big thing about POW films after Missing in Action and all that kind of stuff. And POW The Escape was one of them, which is not a bad film. There was some bad films amongst all them. But that wasn't a bad one.
Was that part of Canon Films?
POW wasn't, I don't think. Trying to think what Canon turned out in that line. I don't think Missing in Action was a Canon film.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It is right there.
There you go. Yeah. Definitely for them, Invasion USA. That was another big one for them because, I mean...
It's a fantastic film. It's is it a Christmas film? Is it not a Christmas film? You know what I mean? But it's one of them that I love Chuck Norris. I think Chuck Norris is great. I've been brought up with Chuck Norris. My grandfather was obsessed with Chuck Norris. That's how I became a fan of his. And you watch Invasion USA, and he dials that in. That is one of the worst acts I've ever seen him do. He's fucking terrible in it. But it still works. You know what I mean? It's fucking awful. He's just wooden all the way through. He's just wooden. And he's not the best actor to start off with. But in that, I mean, to be fair, he isn't much better in Firewalker. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for Lou Gossett, that film would be tripe.
Well, the thing of it is, man, is like Chuck Norris probably looked at the paycheck they gave him right before production started, and he was like, "Well, I'm going to give you about this much talent."
Yeah. You're having $5,000 worth, and that's all you're getting. You know what I mean? What about New York Ninja? I do not own New York Ninja, and I've seen little bits. Have you got New York Ninja, John?
Yeah.
It's one of those rarities. Films like that don't pop up that often.
As much as I paid for it, it's been sitting over here now for a while, and unfortunately, I still haven't got to that thing yet. But I'll get to it sooner or later.
It's supposedly a great time. It is.
Yeah, I've heard numerous people tell me though, like especially who know my style and taste in films, they're like, definitely have a few pints though before you press play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, for Vinnig Syndrome to do what they've done with it, though, you know what I mean? Hats off to them. It's there's not many other studios would throw companies would throw the money in like that to finish a film off.
The book they provided with that too, just to not give it away or spoil it, but reading the material that they put in that book of how they actually come to find that film, and not to mention all the missing stuff they couldn't find, is they definitely did. They put a budget in that to put that together, and it's just it's crazy that it did so well for them because they already did like 6 major screenings like in Hollywood and the Chinese theater and all that, and I'm like, wow, like I'm looking at photos of those attendances and they're just packed to the roof, and I'm like, hey, it did good for them. So
yeah, things pay off, you know what I mean? And if you get it right and the consumer wants it, the consumer's going to buy it, and you know what I mean?
There you go. Especially here in the States, man, like we have this whole thing. I know you completely are out of that game and don't bother with it, but there, as far as when it comes to Vinegar Syndrome, that seems to be the label that people will buy those movies, have no intention to watch them ever, but they want the slipcover. And it's like,
cover. Yeah.
Wow. Like you're going that far out buying those things and you're not even watching them, but you just want the piece of cardboard on them. Doesn't even make sense to me, but hey, everybody's got their end game. I respect it. So
yeah, it's each to their own, and if you're collecting like that for collecting's sake, kudos, hats off to you. I mean, that's great. It's just not my thing at all. Don't get me wrong, I have things with slips because that's the way it comes. Like the HMV stuff, like the two Dracula films that I sent you, all the HMV stuff comes in those slips, and I like those for what they are. There's a nice side loader. They're quite thick. They look good on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But standard slip cases don't really do much for me. then they never have done.
Yeah, man, we live in one of the greatest times, man, for physical media, but we live in one of the strangest times too. Whenever you see what the majority is doing, like when you don't see a whole lot of just picking here and there of what they want. They want the whole thing, and it's got to have the slipcover on it, or they don't want it. It's like, I think you're going about this the wrong way, because you should be buying it to enjoy that film for what it is, and not to enjoy the labor that went into it, that the company did for the restoration, the interviews, the bonus features. I mean, if you're going to pay $35-$40 for a movie, I'd say watch it. Don't just put it on your shelf and leave it in the cellophane. Like, that's just...
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately passed away.
Steve James did a great action movie called Street Hunter. I definitely don't know that, but I'd definitely have a look for something like that. It's any of those actors that are doing that kind of stuff. Think it was always another one as well. Is it Fred Williams?
Fred Williams.
Yeah, I mean he's done some absolute brilliant nonsense. I mean, I've got a couple of these are worth picking up from Amazon. I hate Amazon, but this is the only way you can get them, and they're called Awful Awesome. And there's 3 volumes. There's a sci-fi one, an action one, and a horror one. And it just goes through something like that. So you get the old VHS cover on that side, and then it gives you a synopsis of the film on that side. These books are really good. It's even astounded me with some of the films in here that I've just never seen or heard of before. Stuff like that one. Man Killers. I mean, fuck only knows what that is, but yeah, I'll buy into it. You know what I mean? I mean, more stuff. Anthony Elmore is Iron Thunder, a martial arts film. Yeah, never heard of it, but we'll have a look. And I found these books are like £9 each on Amazon. And there's up to now there's 3 altogether.
Oh.
There's 3 of them. They're worth picking up.
Audio.
There's the sci-fi one. There's the horror one. And the action one. If you're into obscure films, B movies, general shit, then check them out. You may come across something you've never seen before. Is there anything in your collection? Is there anything missing from your collection you try to hunt down? Again, if I'm hunting anything down, I can generally get it Blu-ray wise. If I'm hunting anything, it's generally weird stuff on DVD. But the big one for me that I hunted down, and it took me ages to find it. You can't really see it. You can just sort of see them above my head here. And there's 23 films in that collection. And they're made to look like VHS cases, but it's a Blu-ray DVD combo. And inside, well, I'll grab one down, we'll have a look, and I'll show you the film I'm talking about. So this film took me a while to find. This finished off in the collection, really. And it is Clue.
Okay.
Goes for fucking stupid money in the UK now, about 35 quid second hand this. This is the only way you can get a copy of this film in the UK. This was put out by HMV. This was HMV's VHS line that they put out. Virtually the rest of the stuff you can get for peanuts now. It's really cheap. This was 1,500 copies only and went out of print like that and has never been back in print. So if you pick one of these, to hunt one of these down is really difficult. You're into about 35 quid for one now. But it's just like an old VHS box.
Nice.
Like
Okay.
that. Then you've got, if I can get it in shot, you've got all your special features on the back. A little bit that's set up like that. But then the beauty of them is you slide them out that way.
Ooh.
And it looks like a VHS, like that. Then you open it up. And it has the DVD and the Blu-ray there, like the reels of the VHS.
That is nice, man. That is really nice.
Yeah. And then you get a bubblegum card and a sticker, 80s style. And an A4 poster. So that's with all of them. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple of titles in this line that are 80s films, the 90s films. And there's some mainstream titles in there as well. But they look pretty good on the shelf. Relatively easy and cheap to pick up. But that one, it took me ages to hunt that one down and to finish off the collection. Because it was so expensive, and like I said, only 1,500 copies of it.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely limited. That's for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. You said there's 23 of those in all?
23, yeah. They did release a 24th one, which didn't match. It's in the same style, but it's Mandy, and it's just in a purple box.
Okay. Nicolas Cage Mandy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And it doesn't really fit with everything else. It doesn't look right. It's in the same style, exactly the same style. It's just a complete purple box with Nick Cage on the front. But the titles in that line is American Wolf in London, 48 Hours, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Tremors, Scarface, Top Gun, Airplane, The Warriors, Up in Smoke, Cheeks and Chongs film, Jurassic Park. The Thing looks really good. E.T., Blues Brothers, Flashdance, Jaws, Crocodile Dundee, Trading Places, Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop, and Grease. Oh, Frighteners is the other one.
Wow. They definitely covered. They definitely covered some properties there. I mean,
yeah, they went for it really. But like I said, the one for The Thing looks pretty good because again, the artwork's slightly different on it. I'll show you that one. So I've got various ones. I think I've got an Arrow release of it, and I've got a DVD release of it, and that. But that is the VHS
nice.
of The Thing.
That is beautiful.
It's nice. It's really nice.
Wow.
The poster out of this is up on my wall in front of me. I framed it. It's not got loads of special features on it. That's the only thing. I mean, the only special features on that is a commentary with Carpenter and Kurt Russell. The Thing, the Terror Takes Shape, some outtakes, production posts, and a theatrical trailer. There ain't much on it, but as a shelf piece, it's
beautiful.
It's a lot different to anything else that's out there of The Thing.
I've never seen
no.
I've never seen a release, and trust me, I own tons of releases from VHS to Blu-ray to 4K. I've never seen that image used for any release. Never.
No, it looks good, doesn't it? It's the poster that comes with it is just the standard coat with the white light shining out of the face, out of the hood. They didn't go. The poster didn't look like this. But no, that's out of all 23 that's out, that's the best looking one. It's they tried to do the same thing with the American Wolf in London one, and it doesn't quite work with it. It's but no, they're a nice piece. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely. And like you said, of course there's 23 of those, but there's going to be a few of them that are way more valuable than other ones. Like what would be like the top notch valuable ones? Clue, of course.
Clue at £35 at the moment, and then I think it's Frighteners. I think Frighteners goes for about 20. And then I think most of them after that are quite easy to get hold of. I would say most of the other ones are relatively easy to get hold of on the second-hand market now. But Frighteners and Clue, they're the ones. But Clue was the big one. That virtually sold out on day one, and then I chased it for ages to try and get a copy. And to be fair, I mean, it's a decent enough film. It's just the Tim Curry show, really. I mean, Tim Curry just goes nuts for 90 minutes in it. And it is a good film, but sort of the way that looks as well is, if you'd ever seen the DVD cover of it, the DVD cover was different to this as well. So, but that's the only way to own that film in Blu-ray in the UK. Now, there has been whispers of HMV getting hold of the license for it again and putting it out on the premium collection. So imagine if that happens, maybe that might drive the price of that one down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would imagine it's the exact same transfer. It'll be the same special features on there. There won't be anything different.
Speaking on the that release you got of the thing there, which I'm sure just like everybody, we own multiple copies of our favorite films. But have you got to check out the 4K release that Studio Canal done for the thing?
No.
There's been
I own all 4 Studio Canal releases, so The Thing, The Fog, Prince of Darkness, and Escape from New York. But I've just got the standard Blu-ray editions that they put out of them.
Gotcha. You know, there's it seems like ever since that the thing's been released on 4K, there's been a lot of criticism due to the sound and a little bit of the quality of the transfer for the 4K UHD. But I will tell you, I've watched it numerous times to see what everybody's concerns is about it. And I don't know whether maybe the Studio Canal released maybe a bad batch with some discs that had some issues as far as freezing up and stuff like that. But I think they look phenomenal, man. Like I said, I've watched that movie numerous times on 4K, and it looks absolutely great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, even the Blu-rays they put out, obviously there were 4K scans that were put onto Blu-ray. Even they look really good. You know what I mean? On a decent setup, they look tidy. So I've never double dipped.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got I've got 3 of those the big editions you're talking about from Studio Canal, the 4 disc sets.
Yeah.
I got Prince of Darkness, The Fog, and Escape from New York. I actually found a place here that I order from a lot. They actually had the 4 disc set of the thing in. I had to pay like $60 for it, but it's on the way. And I just got to get They Live because it's 5 in all for the John Carpenter 4 disc set. So I just got to chase down They Live, which it usually goes for about $50. So I get that one, and then it's done. So, but I love those sets, man. Studio Canal does a great job on those sets, and not to mention this right here that they did a phenomenal job on, man. Oh man, that is a beautiful set of the Howling right there.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that when I got it in my hands, opened it up, and took out everything inside, and I was like, that's worth the price of what you're going to pay for that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Studio Canal do some really, really good work. The only one that I've been disappointed with recently, and I think Alan picked it up as well, is The Outsiders.
Okay.
The new cut that was done for this is unwatchable. The audio over the top is that loud, so the soundtrack just weighs over the top of everything else to the point where you can't tell what people are talking about. You can't hear words coming out of people's mouths. The audio is that loud. And I tried numerous settings, TV, surround sound system, nothing made a difference. You go back to the original cut and it's perfect.
Wow.
So anybody that's got the version of The Outsiders, do not bother with the new cut of it because it just does not work at all. It's a shame because it's a great film.
Dang. That's disappointing. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Be aware of that one because you'll never know what Soda and Pony Boy's talking about.
Exactly. I mean, it starts off really well. It gets a little bit about halfway through the film, and you start noticing a little bit that the score, the soundtrack's getting slightly louder, and then to the end of the film, it's just you can't hear anything. But the fight scene at the end, and then the scene where all the brothers sort of make up at the end of the film, there is no dialogue. You cannot hear what they're saying. The audio is that loud over the top of everything. So what happened to the mix? I have no idea. But that's only on the new thing of it. It's so if you're gonna watch it, watch the original because both versions are on there. But yeah, it's called the complete novel edition. So if you're getting it and you put the disc in that's the complete novel edition, don't bother. Just put the original transfer in because that works and the new transfer doesn't.
Gotcha.
So we've got on the chat. Might have to pick up Jaws, Top Gun, and Crocodile Dundee movies. Yeah, I mean, Crusher, you can get those for pretty easy money, mate. Jaws will probably set you back about £6. So will Top Gun. Top Gun's about £6 at the moment. Dundee's about £8, I think. And again, CEX is your best place for them. You're not really. You can find them on eBay, but people are trying to scalp you for them.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but so CEX is the easiest place to find them at. What's the difference? The thing 4K and quality studio canal, obviously, it's the same transfer, I think.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, same transfer. Yeah, it's the studio canal transfer, isn't it?
That's all they did, and I know for a fact that I wouldn't be surprised if Screen Factory pumps that out down the line in their 4K UHD, but Studio Canal right now is going to take those benefits right now, consolidate it, get everything dime they can get from it, and then pass the temporary license on for it. So,
yeah,
that's how it goes.
What else have we got here? They Live is cool, but Hell Comes to Frogtown is great fun. I like both films. They Live is a great film. Hell Comes to Frogtown is a fucking nuts film.
That's great. That the Vinegar Syndrome release, that thing is
yeah.
But this one right here,
the Arrow release, yeah, it's good.
I had to track down the first print run with the booklets in it because I knew there was only limited to 1,000, so I had to pay a little bit more for this when I got it. But yeah, Hell Comes to Frogtown. That's, like I said, I just picked it up right there. I always have that somewhere close, but I'm gonna pick it up and watch it.
If you're gonna watch Hell Comes to Frogtown and you want to do a double feature, stick on DEFCON 4.
Oh, okay.
That's an Arrow release. Brilliant film. Go hand in hand. Really good. And we've got Brian in the house. Hello, Brian.
Brian Goes Blue, my buddy.
How's it going, dude? You okay? Yeah, DEFCON 4. It's an Arrow release. Really, really cheap to pick up in the UK. Second hand that now. Get that for £5-6. Did it get a US release? DEFCON 4?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I believe Arrow was also a Region A release for that as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Because I think I even saw that in a couple of especially I think Fry's Electronics got that, and they only carry Region A titles before they went out of business. But I believe that got a Region A release, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's again bit of a slow burner, a bit of an odd beginning to the film. You see a full-on nuclear war happen, and then it just all goes batshit crazy from there. Really, it's a good film. It is a good film. Does Shout Factory do in-house transfers, or do they rely on Studio Canal? I don't think everything comes from Studio Canal.
Anthony, I'll be right back, brother.
Yeah, man, not a problem. Like I said, being in the UK, the whole Shout Factory, Screen Factory stuff is really limited. We don't see much over here of it. It's very, very rare I can get my hands on any of it. importing. It's so expensive from the US into the UK with anything like that. So I don't tend to bother. Like I said, Johnny's probably the man to ask about that. But I would imagine they're doing in-house transfers. I mean, like I said before, what you're tending to find, Show Factory must be doing their own stuff with Screen Factory as well, as because if you buy anything on 101 Films, for example, Ghoulies, that's the Screen Factory transfer on that. The Show Factory logo, Screen Factory logo pop up on that film at the beginning. So the 101 logo comes on, and then the Screen Factory and Show Factory logo come on. So they're obviously doing their own in-house stuff. If anybody else wants to drop anything in the chat, feel free to do so. If you want to see anything that's in my collection or in Johnny's collection when he comes back, just hit us up in the chat. We'll try to oblige if we've got it. Obviously, if you know me and you know this channel, you know that I'm a big old 80s nerd, and I've got a big collection of 80s cartoons as well. Are we going to see Exo Squad on Blu-ray in our lifetime? Exo Squad. Do I know that film? Let me have a look. Are we talking Exo Squad as in the 90s cartoon TV series? Crusher says, anything else you collecting like martial arts? There's only one. I'm into sci-fi stuff. I collect a lot of 80s sci-fi. I collect a lot of 80s sword and sorcery and high fantasy films. That's the main staple of what I buy. Unlike Johnny and a few of the lads like Brian, who's watching at the moment, they're massively into the horror stuff. I'm selective with my horror. I've got some horror titles, but I'm not the biggest horror collector. So for me, it's sci-fi and high fantasy stuff, really. I do have some martial arts films. I do all martial arts films. There's certain martial arts films I like. A couple of them. Shokazuga, Rage of Honor. I like that film. And another Shokazuga film, Pray for Death, is another good film. And then, weirdly, I'd never seen this film before, and I don't know why or how. I'd never come across it before I picked this up. It's Ghost Warrior. Samurai film. It's pretty decent. Martial arts stuff. I like Bruce Lee films. I've got all the Bruce Lee films. I've got some early Van Damme stuff. So yeah, I have got some martial arts stuff, but the bulk of my buying is mainly sci-fi stuff and high fancy and sword and sorcery kind of stuff. It's an animated series. Yeah, I know which one you mean then. Yeah, it ran from 93 to 95. Looks a bit X-Men-ish. It's probably the same animation team as X-Men. It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of that kind of stuff is hard pushed to get onto Blu-ray now. You know what I mean? You were lucky if you even see something like He-Man come to Blu-ray. You know what I mean? It's probably just never going to happen. You know what I mean? It shocked me when Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers got bought to Blu-ray from Disney. Real out of left field that edition. But the whole reason I think that ended up coming out like that is because Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers has got a new film coming out. So I think the whole thing of that release of that Blu-ray was just to try and push along what's going to happen with the new film. But out of all this stuff I've got behind me, there's I've no Blu-ray in any of the sort of like animated cartoon stuff. None of it. The Master of the Universe new TV series. What did you think of it? Which one, Crusher? Was it obviously talking about both Netflix shows? Were you talking about Kevin Smith's show, or was you talking about the other Master of the Universe? I've seen them both. I think they're both really good. I think the bashing that Kevin Smith took for that Master of the Universe was completely wrong. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Both of them, yep. There's nothing wrong with the more kid-friendly one. It works really well. It looks good. It's a sort of nice take on the show to bring it to a new audience. It looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And like I said, the Kevin Smith one, that for me got bashed for no apparent reason. I think it looks really good. Storyline was fantastic. Characterization of it was great. Voice acting was great. So it took a harsh bashing for no real reason. A lot of these people that was mourning about that show weren't even alive when the original TV series came out. So, you know what I mean? If some people had watched this original TV series, I don't understand what the issue was with it. You know what I mean? The original TV series itself isn't particularly that good anyway. You know what I mean? I've got fond memories of it of because of what it is. But if you actually go back and watch this show now, you know what I mean? It isn't all that. It's some of the writing on it is diabolical. And when you look back at the two shows put to side to side, that and She-Ra was the better show. Yeah, I mean, I checked the new She-Ra out. It's not bad at all. That took a bit of criticism for no apparent reason, really. It's a decent enough show, but it is what it is. It's a show that's not aimed at me. It's a show that's aimed. I mean, I'm 44. It's not. It's never going to be aimed at me. It's aimed at a new generation of person to watch this kind of thing and to get them into the franchise. That's the whole idea of it. So it doesn't bother me if I like it or not. It's not the show isn't for me. The show was never designed around me. I just like it that we're still getting stuff like this. Well, it's got a bit quiet in here now. I mean, we had about 7 people, and at one point we're down to 1 now. I'm not sure if Johnny's internet's playing up again. A remake of Brave Star. I could probably work now. You know what I mean? It's that was quite a diverse show when it came out. It's a good show. A lot of the dire Filmation fans don't particularly like it, but I think it's all right. Never been a UK release of it. The set I've got is a US import, Mill Creek set. Mill Creek aren't the best, but it's the only one I've got. There's a lot of stuff that could probably be reworked now and would probably do all right. It's 2 minutes. Yeah, it's. And I mean, a lot of that 80s animated stuff, cartoon stuff. You know what I mean? It was of the time. A lot of it wouldn't work now. Some of it would probably work now. Brave Star is probably one of them that would work. G.I. Joe movies. What do I think of them? Not a lot, really. I suppose they're what they are. They could have been done better. Should have been done better. But it's like me and Johnny was talking about before. Game adaptations into film don't always work. Cartoon adaptations into film don't always work. And I think G.I. Joe the movie was the G.I. Joe movies is one that's not really worked. And again, the films aren't really aimed for me. You know what I mean? They're trying to bring a new generation into watching these things and trying to get them into that IP, really. I collect classic anime, Discotheque, best boutique label for anime. Love what they put out. To be fair, mate, I am not a anime collector. I've got odd couple of things that was released by manga. Obviously, I've got the Akira set. I've got what else have I got? There's a few bits. I've bits like this. I've stuff like that. I mean, it's quite easy to pick up, that one. Nice little steel book. I've got volumes 1 and 2 of Battle of the Planets. I'm still after the full big box set of that. It's really difficult to get hold of, but that's what I've been chasing down for a while. Like I say, I don't do much anime. My daughter's into more anime stuff than I am. I mean, when I was younger, it probably I could relate a little bit more to it. Over the last few years, I've not really picked anything up manga related. The Akira set that I've got, it's still the 2 set DVD. I never picked up that. I've not even picked up that Blu-ray or 4K set. We've currently got 3 people left in here. Anything I'd recommend to watch, like 80s cartoon shows? Ooh. Yeah. kind of things are you into, Crusher? I'm into all kinds of stuff, but if you're looking into sort of off the cuff, not general releases that people don't always remember, stuff to go for. That's a good set. Galaxy High School, if you remember that one. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but this was on when I was young. Really good show. 13 episodes, one series. Well written, well animated, good characters. So check that one out. It's back. There we go.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all right, mate. You're okay.
Oh, what's been going on? What y'all chatting about?
People have been asking about my overindulgence in 80s cartoons.
Got you.
And the stupid prices that they're now going for. It's absolutely. If you're going to look at one thing at the moment, we look at films all the time, and they're going for crazy money, being hot for crazy money and stuff like that. If you look at 80s cartoons on DVD, holy shit, they are going for crazy money. Okay. I mean, crazy money. I mean, about 4 months back, if I can find it, it's there. It's a show called Alias the Jester.
Okay.
Put out by a company quite close to where I live in Manchester, called Cosgrove Hall. These are the same people that did Danger Mouse and Count Duckula. And put this show out. It's 13 episodes. They're 10 minutes long each. Was voiced by some great British actors of the time. Not many people remember it. It got this release on DVD. There couldn't have been that many of them because it's really hard to get hold of. I'm ashamed to say that I paid £35 for that second hand.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
That was a massive one on the want list. It's a huge show for me, that. And it's not often I dip like that, but I did do for this. And the thing was like new when it came. I think it came out in 2003 on DVD. And it is like new, you know what I mean, for nearly 20-year-old.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's an expensive hobby all round. Whatever your taste, whatever your thing may be, it's pricey. But gotcha. There's worse things I could be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you know Tokusatsu? Is that how I pronounce that right? I do not know. Again, if it's manga related or anything like that, I have no idea. It's out of my league. Mainstream manga, I can probably throw you a few titles out that I know. Everything off the back of that, I have no idea. What else we got there? 80s and 90s TVs and movies are still the best of the best. Yeah. Modern films, I tend to stay away from them, and it's not because I dislike anything. We went to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife at the cinema when that came out. I picked the Blu-ray up last week when the Blu-ray came out. That film's fucking brilliant. I loved it. It's just one big nostalgia kicker from start to end, and I loved it for it. It's a great film. But a lot of modern films just do nothing for me. I know you was a bit of a fan of it when you saw it, but me and a friend of mine was away last October in Edinburgh in Scotland, and we went to see Halloween Kills while we was there in one of the biggest auditoriums I've ever been in years, and there was about 10 people in there, and I didn't like it at all from start to end. I was not keen. Keen. I went in with an open mind. and I like cheese as much as the next person, but it was, so I had to explain, it was overplayed cheese. It was cheese playing for cheese. You know what I mean? It didn't naturally do it. It was like it was being forced in that direction, and it did nothing for me. Nothing. Yeah. And then the old guy in hospital routine bit, that took me out of the film altogether. I mean, when that bit kicked in, that was it. I was lost at that point. And then we just dragged it through for another 40 minutes to the end and then left it. You know what I mean? It was, so
my running joke is ever since that film came out, I'm just like, if you really want to have fun with this film, you gotta get a bunch of you and your buddies together, and every time somebody says "Evil dies tonight," take you'll be drunk in like the first 15-20 minutes of that film. Like, you'll be plastered.
Yeah, the sort of the opener of the film I quite liked. How it kept skipping back a little bit, and you're going, well, yeah, I sort of gets where it's going from. And I like that sort of early bit of it. Then the middle bit of the film just loses me completely. Then by the time I've got to the end of the film, I'm that disconnected with it. I didn't really care. You know what I mean? There's some decent kills in it. The kills are brilliant. I mean, the one with the fluorescent light tube. I mean, holy shit! You know what I mean? It's one of the best kills I've seen in ages. But it's for the rest of the film, and it didn't do too much for me. So it's got to be something exceptional for me now to watch a more modern film. Gotcha. Don't get me wrong, there's a few out there, and I think you've picked some up recently because Vinegar Syndrome have been releasing them. Summer of '84. Oh yeah, I thought Summer of '84 was fantastic. It's really well done. You got both at the same time. I mean, we got them under two different companies over here, but you got them. Well, no, it was they were sub-labeled. Were they sub-labels? Yeah. Summer of '84 and Prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Prospect is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've been banging on about this film for years to people. And people go, never even heard of it. But that's the version we got in the UK.
Okay. Yes, it's a great film.
It's a great film.
I didn't know what it was. I just kind of blind bought it because I heard everybody was saying it was such a great film.
Yeah.
Popped in and watched it, man. I was blown away with that movie. I was like the perfect big little movie. Like,
it looks brilliant as well. I mean, considering it's a low budget, the whole, and I wouldn't even say special effects, but whoever did those costumes knew what they were doing because the costumes are fantastic in it. But Summer of '84, again, really, really good film. Psycho Gorman, I enjoyed Psycho Gorman. You know what I mean? It's so modern films like that. I like Willy's Wonderland. I watched that with my wife for the first time a couple of weeks back, and she was like, "What the fuck is this? This is crazy." You know what I mean?
It's like it's like Five Nights at Freddy on acid.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's great. It's nuts. It's brilliant. So those kind of films, but big sort of like mainstream blockbusters, they don't do a great deal for me. So that's why I'm surrounded in 70s and 80s nostalgic cheese, and it's just a big thing. And because you know what I mean, I was born in '77. I was brought up with all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It surrounded me everywhere. It was massive. Everything was massive at the time. So everywhere you went, you know what I mean, from E.T. Back to the Future and all that kind of stuff. When I was a kid, it was just rammed down your throat, and it's sort of into. I think it's just like impregnated into your DNA now. This kind of stuff. Where I don't think modern films do that kind of thing anymore. I think that's where a lot of modern films struggle with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, same could be said over here, man. Like when it comes to a lot of modern films, I'll tell you this right now. I'm like one of those people. I saw like the trailer and how they promoted that new Candyman film. I refuse to watch it. I just flat out refuse. I refuse to pay to watch it. Let's say that. I'll watch it for free if I get a chance. But
yeah,
I can already tell you, that's just one of those things that's not going to be for me. And I'm probably going to watch it. I'm going to get pissed to the point where it's just no point in watching it because it's not going to be any fun.
Yeah, but I was doing it today. I got in from work just after lunchtime. I was having a flick around on the TV and that, and I realised that Texas Chainsaw dropped on Netflix.
Yep.
So I watched the trailer, and I was like, And then I saw Tony review it from Horror in Todge, and then Tony was like, "It's just a gore fest." He said, "You know what I mean? It's storyline. There's not a great deal there. Characterization. There's not a great deal there. They've just made Leatherface an absolute badass in it, apparently. Just
Okay.
so I might give it a whirl. It'd be one of them. I might give it a watch. It's
Gotcha.
The Never-Ending Story was one of my favorite favorite kids movies. It's a good film.
Absolutely.
It's a good film. If you like documentaries and stuff like that, there's a company from the UK who do documentaries on things like that, and she's got a documentary coming out soon with the guy the boy that played Atreyu in it. I think it's called Life After Atreyu, the documentary. It's all about him, and he did a few other things I think after Never-Ending Story, but not much. But she's done some good stuff. She did Life After the Navigator with Joey Kramer, and his trip down sort of a destructive path where he ended up going to prison for holding, I think it was a bank up with a shotgun. He went to prison for that, and she did one with, I think she's done a Flash Gordon one as well. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you're into documentary stuff, check the Life After series out. She's done a really good deal.
Awesome.
But again, that sort of films like Never-Ending Story and stuff like that, they just couldn't be done again today. It just wouldn't work.
You know absolutely not.
Don't get me wrong, you've got some good sort of fancy films now. You know what I mean? They're not my biggest film, but the Harry Potter franchise is huge, and it's probably done for that kind of stuff what no other film's done in years. I draw the line at Macaulay Culkin. No. He's got better now he's older. He pops up every so often on Red Letter Media's channel on YouTube, doing some with them guys over there with the podcast and that. But I think was he just in the new season of American Horror Story?
Oh wow! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's in the new series of that, and the only reason I know that is because I've not watched it, but my wife has. So I definitely know he's in that.
Gotcha.
He plays a prostitute of all things, I think.
Well, it fits him well.
It's not that long back. Probably 6 months ago. He has a band as well, Macaulay Culkin, and he played a venue in Manchester. Manchester's about 25 miles away from where I live, and the venue's called the Bread Shed, and it probably holds about 300 people. And Macaulay Culkin and his band played that venue.
Nice. Okay. Hey, I know his biggest thing that he was. I think he was on the Joe Rogan Experience one time, and he was just talking about how long he lived in Paris, and it was I don't know. It's just he's still one of those. He's one of those kid stars that like grew up where I kind of look at him kind of like Corey Feldman, where I'm kind of just wondering how much mental health damage there is there.
Yeah. Massively. It's Corey Feldman is you've got to love the guy, but he's just a mess.
Oh, he's a train wreck. I mean,
yeah.
He just he did what was that, the new podcast with Steve-O's new podcast from Jackass.
Right.
And I put that on, and me and my wife is just sitting there watching it. Even my wife is looking at me being like, somebody needs to like drug test him or commit him or something. Like, he's making all kinds of accusations. Like he kind of reminds me of the guitar player from Blink-182, Tom DeLonge, how he swears the aliens or FBI demon shit. And I'm like, I'm not believing this, man. Those guys are in Hollywood, man. They're on like some of the craziest drugs you could think of.
Yeah. Corey Haim. Yeah, I mean Corey Haim did some good films.
Oh, absolutely.
He pulled some great films out the bag.
Yep.
I mean, probably I would imagine Lost Boys was probably the biggest thing that he ended up doing, sort of cult status wise.
What was that title you said again?
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, of course. Yeah. I was letting my wife
Um,
watch because she had never seen it. License to Drive, and I'm like,
License to
"You've never
Drive.
seen License to Drive?" So that's a great flick. You got to watch it.
Yeah, they're in another one together. I can never think what the title's called. I think MVD is due to put it out, or there's someone due to put it out, and it's like a Switch film where
It is.
he I can't think of the title of it though, but
Yeah,
both Corys are in that.
Yeah, it's like basically a story of like them. He transfers his soul over to an older man.
Older guy, yeah.
Back and forth. It's a very bizarre movie. I saw that movie not too long ago for the first time, just by chance. And yeah, it's Vestron who's putting that out. And I was
It's Vestron, that was it, yeah.
And all the stuff they've released so far for that collector's Blu-ray series, I'm looking at that title and I'm like, why did they pick this one?
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. But yeah,
that's a line that I would love to get into. But some of the titles that I was looking at, like Maximum Overdrive, Chopping Mall, I mean, them things are still really expensive. You know what I mean? We've never had either of those in the UK. I recently picked up The Gate, and I recently picked up The Wraith, because we'd never had Blu-ray releases of those in the UK, and they're relatively cheap over here. I think they're about £14, something like that. And they're nice releases. They're good at what they do, but some of the other titles just cannot get all of. I think we've probably got half of what's actually been released in the US.
Gotcha.
And no real reason why we've not got the others. And, you know what I mean? There can't be licensing issues or anything because there's never been any releases of them at all. I don't know what it is.
When Vestron first rolled out those titles here in North America, they were like $35-$40 a piece, and there was a lot of people who bought them, like collectors, but it was hard to get them cheap. But believe it or not, right after Maximum Overdrive, they came out with Little Monsters and Shivers, and that's where we started getting like the $13 price Blu-rays. So those are a lot easier now to get at that price point as opposed to the older ones that are still running for like $30-$35. It's like,
yeah.
So is what it is though. But they're great. They're a great company. I like their products.
How many of those early titles are still quite expensive, or how many of those early titles were expensive?
I would say the first 18 of them. No, I'm sorry. Probably the first 16 of them were very expensive. And then it seemed like right after Maximum Overdrive came out, we got Shivers and Little Monsters, and that's when the price point changed. And they rolled those out on the same exact day, which was weird.
Right.
But because I think at that point, everybody had kind of thought that Vestron was defunct because they didn't release anything for almost 2 years. So everybody was just like, okay, well, like Vestron's done. Like they just went belly up. So Lionsgate's not going to put any more budget into physical media for that line. And then they just came back all of a sudden, and we was like, wow. So complete surprise.
And when they came back, had the price point dropped?
Yep, $13.
Weird, isn't it? It's odd. It's odd.
It was very odd, but even you would think because they dropped their price that significantly, you would think, okay, well, like the movie might look good, but they're not going to put together bonus features. But they did. They put, I mean, like pretty much the same amount, if not more, on the new releases as they did the previous releases, which was bizarre. It still is bizarre, but I love the new price point, though. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, we've only ever known them over here as being sort of like £14-15 that way. They've always been the same price. But when they release in the UK, they always release in pairs. They always come out in twos. So you'll always get two releases from on the same day. So the last ones that we got were Dimension 13.
You got the Wraith.
And was the Wraith the last one? We got Dimension 13 and Sundown Is it Sundown?
Yep.
Vampires in Retreat, that one. Them two
Yep.
dropped at the same time. I think the Wraith and something else dropped at the same time. So they might, I can't think what it was, but they tend to put them out in twos, so they always drop in twos for some reason. I don't know why.
Gotcha.
But all that early stuff we just never got over here, and it was those early titles that I wanted. But for some reason, they're just still expensive. Even if I look on eBay now, on UK eBay, and the people that have imported them and got them, they still want top dollar from.
Yep. Same here, man. It's for some reason it's those early titles, man. It's just they're too expensive, way too expensive.
Well, like the sort of other sort of I don't know if I class them as boutique or not kind of companies, these, but the other companies that are doing them sort of like one-off titles like that. We've got one called Final Cut Entertainment in the UK as well, who sort of pick up obscure kind of titles. I mean, they put out Drop Dead Fred, they put out Bigfoot and the Hendersons, Money Pit. What else did they just put out? Death Becomes Her. But they're all reasonably priced at about £9 to £10 when they come out. I took notice the other day you picked some network stuff up. Their stuff is top notch for the price. I mean, I don't know what kind of money you're paying in the US from, but in the UK they are dirt cheap, and I mean dirt cheap. But what you're getting for your money is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that was the Ghoul I got. It was like $9.
Yeah.
The Hammer series, of course, that's like a 3-disc set, and it's that's pretty extensive. So I think that was like $20, which ain't bad because that's like 13 episodes of that series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so glad to get that too because me, I'm a big, I love Hammer stuff. But yeah, I just never heard of them. I saw them sitting on the shelf when I went to a store called Orbit DVD, and I was just like, hey, like I'm gonna check it out. At this price, I'll definitely check it out. So I still haven't popped them in though yet. I'll definitely give it a go though.
The transfers that they do on stuff is fantastic. Obviously, the couple in my collection is Hawk the Slayer. Are you aware of that film?
The Slayer?
Yeah, Hawk the Slayer. Hold on a sec.
Oh.
Nothing.
I've never seen it.
Well, I've spoken to a couple of guys from the US and they've never come across it. It's a typically British film from 1980. It's a sword and sorcery film. Straight up sword and sandals, sword and sorcery kind of stuff. It's that low budget. It's good. It's unbelievably low budget. But the actors in it were sort of the who's who of the British acting scene at the time. It's fantastic. It's got the best sort of disco score over it you will ever hear in your life. It is immense. You'd never think disco and sword and sorcery would go together, but somehow it works massively. The bad guy in this is Jack Palance.
Okay.
And the guy who plays Hawk, who's on the front there, I can never remember his name. John Terry. Didn't do many films, but this is fantastic, and this is a network release. And you'll always see it on a network release, the ITV studio label.
Okay.
ITV bought into this company. ITV is a terrestrial TV channel in the UK. So Channel 3 for us over here.
Okay.
And they've done great things with these releases, and this looks fantastic. I mean, I had this on an old DVD for years, and it looked okay. You know what I mean? It was what it was. The restoration work on this is fantastic, but they also somehow found a load of old behind the scenes footage, and there's about 2.5 hours worth of behind the scenes footage of this, where someone's just walking around with a camcorder, just filming anything and anybody, and it's fantastic. It's as good as the film. Because you can see people offset, you can see people at the catering van, you can see people using the toilet. You know, it's just crazy stuff. But someone found it from somewhere and banged it on this. But again, there's a bit of artwork on the inside. The disc looks really good, and the £9. You know what I mean? It's you can't go wrong with them. They do a lot of Hammer stuff. I thought they would have picked up more of this kind of stuff, but they've not. This is the only one they've picked up. They put out Weekend at Bernie's. That's how you can get Weekend at Bernie's in the UK. But the amount of Hammer stuff that they put out, Hands of the Ripper, Twins of Evil, and they look brilliant. The transfers look fantastic on them.
I think that was Imprint that put out that Hammer 4-film box set here, just not too long. It was last year, right at the end of last year, and that was Twins of Evil, Hands of the Ripper. There was 2 more films I'm trying to think, because I know Synops had already released all 4 of them, and Imprint got the Region B license for them. And I saw that set. It was just a little bit expensive for me, and I already had like 3 of the 4 films, and I was like, I'll hold off on it. I should have went ahead and grabbed it, but I snoozed on it.
Yeah, it's my I'll show you my Hammer set. This goes for, it's about £80 in the US, this in the UK this now, but I found this for a bargain price of £15.
Yeah, I've seen it. That thing is beautiful. Oh,
opens up like that. Drops down the front. And the discs are in like digipacks. Like that. It's good. It's transfers are really good. Special features are really good. You won't be able to see, but this camera's doing me head. It's back to fun. All that down there is all the special feature stuff that's on it. The list of titles that's on this is nuts. So you get them in like chapter books. That's book 1, like that. So it's She, the Nanny, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, Plague of the Zombies, and Rasputin the Bad Monk on that one.
I've watched 2 of those on eBay trying to grab them, and every time I find one of those that somebody's trying to sell on eBay, it goes for about $200, and I'm like,
yeah, it's crazy. What £15 I paid for this.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, I know, and I felt bad handing the money over to the guy because I knew what it was worth, and he had no idea. You know what I mean? It's then book 2, you've got the Reptile, the Witches, 1 million BC, which is a bit of a weird Hammer one to throw in here. Viking Queen and Frankenstein Created Woman. And then Quartermass in the Pit, The Vengeance of She, The Devil Rides Out, Prehistoric Woman, and Scars of Dracula. And that one didn't look quite good in the red.
Scars of Dracula is so good. God,
yeah.
That's so.
And then finally, on book 4, it's The Horror of Frankenstein, Blood of the Mummy's Tomb, Straight On Till Morning, Fear in the Night, Demons of the Wind, and To the Devil a Daughter. To the Devil a Daughter is a really, really odd film.
It's completely slept on, though. Like, nobody even heard about that film until Screen Factory put it out here in North America.
Right.
Don't know what you're missing out on.
The end of that film is mind-blowingly nuts.
I think that's a little, I would definitely say, I think that was a little bit of ahead of its time, even for Hammer Studios at that time.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's a great set. It weighs a ton. That flips up there. That goes over the top.
That thing is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful piece.
And like I said, for the money, it was crazy.
I'm telling you, man, for somebody to let you walk out the door with that thing right there for £15, they were probably high.
Yeah, had no idea what he had. Could never have looked up the cost of it, the price of it, anything. He's just traded it in against something. He's brought it in, and away he's gone. I've walked in, seen it on a shelf. Oh man, how much do you want for that? 15 quid. I was like, trying to get my wallet out of my pocket. You know what I mean? There you go. Thanks, I'm off. You know what I mean? But like, you can still pick it up brand new in the UK. I mean, HMV stock it, but it's hard to get. But some HMVs have it. The one in my town has it, and it's about £80 brand new.
It's about how much?
80.
80. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. That's not bad because I'm telling you, just to get one here from somebody, an eBay seller, especially here in North America, is about $200. So it's about double. So,
but it's
that's a great
it's
set,
it's a good box set. It's probably one of the best box sets I've got. And I do like a box set. I've quite a few of them. If you look, all mine are up there. I took notice the other day that Pop had got the new 88 films box set of Anaconda.
Yeah.
And I've still not got my head around why they've reissued that. I have no idea, because it's the same transfer, the same special features. It's just the packaging and the disc art. That is it. And that set that I've got up there is like a tenner in the UK now. It's for nothing. It's giveaway money. You know what I mean? It's no one wanted it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the Anaconda films, everybody pretty much just wants the first one anyway. Because I mean, as those films progress, the quality doesn't.
They're like, it's just made for sci-fi, aren't they? It's terrible.
It's like the Tremors films. I mean, they just get kind of just out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got that Tremors box set. I can't think what it's called. It's the 5-disc set. And 1 and 2's all right. I like 1, 2's okay. 3's a bit, and then it just goes to shit after that. It's
complete shit.
Yeah. But 6 I've not seen, and I watched the trailer for 6, and that didn't look too bad. But 6 isn't on that box set.
You're not missing much.
I forgot. Buckaroo Banzai is one of my favourite movies of all time. Yeah, grateful. Brilliant Arrow release. I've got the Arrow release up there. That thing holds its money now in the UK. If you've got that 2-disc set that was released over here, that's still going for like £20 second hand. But it's a good 80s film. It's iconic enough that it found its way into Ready Player One. If you see if you see the dance sequence to the end of the film, the main character dresses up as Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah, so it's just a big cult classic film. It's gone quiet in here now. There's not many people. There's 2 people in.
I know you're about 5 hours ahead of me, so it's a little after midnight for you.
It is. It's 23 minutes past 12. Yeah. RoboCop by Arrow. Yeah, I mean, as much as I love RoboCop and as much as I love as what Arrow did with it, I am not dipping in again for a 4K one. It's no chance. It's too much. You know what I mean? I think there's 3 editions anyway. There's that big box edition, Steelbook edition, standard edition of the Blu-ray, and I'm not dipping in again for a 4K this time.
From what
I think some of these
that Arrow 4K is the first Arrow 4K so far where they've actually provided a Dolby Atmos track. None of the rest of the 4Ks that they've released doesn't have it, but for some reason RoboCop's going to have it, and it's like, oh, of course. So,
as much as I like that film, and I've got the Arrow release up there, and I've got the 3-disc edition that was put out by another company in the UK that has RoboCop 1, 2, and 3 on it. And the transfer isn't brilliant on that. It's the old Blu-ray transfer before the digitally remastered transfer came out. And then obviously Arrow brought the remastered edition out, which looks really good. RoboCop 2 I always liked. For some reason, when I was young, RoboCop 2 was a mainstay for me on VHS. It was one that I always went back to. And I look back at it now and you think I wince at it, you know what I mean? It ain't good. And 3's fucking terrible. But
they're fun though. If you know we're already
Yeah,
you
yeah.
already in for, there's still a lot of fun to be had. But as far as shelling out a lot more money again for another 4K release, it's like, just if you want the 4K that bad and you already got the limited edition, wait for the standard to come out. Save a few
Yeah.
bucks. So
That's it. That is it. As we were talking about the other day as well, I have currently got the feelers out for the my mind is terrible. Zombie Flesh Eater Steelbook.
okay, gotcha.
So do not pick a copy of that up, because I've got the feelers out. The local shop near to me that had it in, when I went to look at it on Saturday, the other Saturday, it's gone. But I've tracked down another one that's currently around 60. I think it's either 16 or 18 pounds. The guy wants for it, but everything's with it. The J cards in the books in the posters in the. So if I can get it for that kind of money, I'll pick it up to you and I'll send it on out.
Hey, just let me know. Like I said, I'll hit you that PayPal as soon.
Yeah, it's in decent condition as well. It's in a proper plastic protector as well. So the guy obviously looks after his steel books.
Yeah, man, that thing is beautiful, man. Oh, it's so beautiful.
I prefer Terminator 1 over Terminator 2. So do I. I'm not a fan of Terminator 2 at all.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it's a bold statement, but yeah,
that is.
Yeah, can't stand it. I think the Guns N' Roses soundtrack is shit for it. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger at that particular point in time, it was the wrong role for him. He just should have remained a badass and ended up going to this like pussy robot mode that was just fucking terrible. And I can never think of the guy's name who plays the T2 robot in it. Yeah. I can't think of his name. He's a goddamn awful actor, and it was one of those films. It's massive, and don't get me wrong, I do own a copy of it. I've got the Skynet edition version of it, and it's full of extras and features and stuff like that. But if you watch that film now, it does not stand up well at all. I think it's lousy. The first one, it's immense. You know, you watch that, but when I was a kid, I watched that film, and it was just a really, really good sci-fi film. That's what it was. But watch it back now, that film's like a full-on slasher film. You know what I mean? It just works on loads of other ways, and it's a brilliant film. And like loads of other Schwarzenegger films, the less Arnold Schwarzenegger speaks, the better. You know what I mean? Conan the Barbarian, he's fantastic. He doesn't open his mouth. It's great. And the score and the soundtrack works for it. Him not speaking any dialogue. It's exactly the same in Terminator. Brilliant. Brilliant score. Brilliant soundtrack. Doesn't open his mouth. It's great. Terminator 2, I'll be back and all that shit. Piling it down your throat. Doesn't work. I'm not into it. Not into it. And I love Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? I do love Schwarzenegger. But Terminator 2, no. Terminator 1, yeah. Here's another one for you as well, as if we're looking down like this, we'll look at this comment now. RoboCop 1 over RoboCop 2. Yeah. Check this one out. Predator 2 over Predator.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. It's I like Predator. I think Predator is a fantastic film. Really is. Predator 2, fucking unreal. It's just mental from start to end. Is a mental film. Danny Glover's brilliant in it. And as a kid, it was another one again, just on rotation, VHS, and it just lodged into my DNA. And people always go, Predator 2, mate. They all go, what? Okay, you're nuts. Predator 2 over Predator. Yeah. The RoboCop TV series. No, I was never into that. It was awful.
Was that? Never mind. I was thinking. I was thinking of the Terminator series, the Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor Chronicles. Yeah, that's not a bad show. It's but like I said, RoboCop 1 is good. RoboCop 2 is all right. RoboCop 3 is just dreadful. And then the TV stuff just completely kills it off altogether. But there's a lot of sequel films that I prefer to the first films, and people look at me like I'm mental. Another one is up there. Beverly Hills Cop 2 over Beverly Hills Cop. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's a lot of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's these companies released these films back in the day, and they did really well. So them films that did really well, the sequels just got miles more money poured into them because they thought it was just going to do just as good a job, and they didn't always succeed. But the second films in those kind of films was always better than the first film.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, most of my collecting, as you'll find from my channel, is mainly sci-fi or high fantasy sword and sorcery stuff. That's where I'm at. I like action films, horror stuff. I like certain things in the horror genre, not everything, and I'm really picky with it. Like really picky with it. It's very rare I'll blind buy or blind watch a title that I know nothing about beforehand in the horror stuff. Most of the stuff I'll give it a go, but the horror stuff is I've got to know what I'm getting into before I get into it, kind of thing. It's so if you check out my horror stuff, it's pretty run of the mill. There's probably nothing in my collection that's stand out horror wise or off the cuff or slightly weird. Even that like obscure DVD stuff I've got, I wouldn't even say no. There's nothing in it that sort of stands out that's slightly obscure. It's all pretty run of the mill. I think because, again, me being that slightly bit older and me being completely all the way through the 80s, you was bombarded with films of all kinds. And for some reason, I just stuck with the whole sci-fi thing and sort of high fantasy stuff, and dipped in and out of some horror. But I think that watching them kind of films as a kid, it's just always stuck with me.
Gotcha.
So that's why most of my collection now, if you came and seen this collection, it's mainly sci-fi and high fantasy stuff.
Gotcha.
As a collecting point of view, collecting horror is fucking brilliant because there's loads. You know what I mean? You're digging deep. There's companies finding stuff that it's not been out for years. You don't get that with sci-fi. You don't get that with high fantasy. I mean, I think I own every high fantasy film that's been released. You know what I mean? There's only so much of it.
Yeah, the horror market itself too is it's limitless. Like just because of the 80s itself, there was, like you said, I would say bombarded is not even the word. I think they dumped so much out in a 10-year period where,
yeah,
even if you spent your whole life trying to collect everything from 1980 to 1990, you probably still wouldn't get it all. Like, there's probably a big chance you wouldn't get it all because there's just so much of it. It's just insane. But it's really nice though to see that these titles that's been long and forgotten now for a couple decades now, they're finally being resurfaced and coming back out. And there's like, even people our age, a little bit older, being like, "Oh, remember when that first came out? Like, I haven't thought about that movie in 30 years." And it's like, well, here we go. We just got it.
Yeah, it is good. Like I say, I like the thing that Pops is doing now, where he's going for the DPP list, which is a fantastic thing to do. If people are aware of the DPP list, and it's only something that they've recently got into and looked into it, it's hard to believe that something like that happened in the UK. You know what I mean? It was crazy times that that a video store could get closed down and the guy could get prosecuted just by renting films out. You know what I mean? It was crazy times.
It's one of those things too. Like I always hear it all the time here. Like after seeing the documentary and really looking into it, but everybody here in the States always know that as the video nasties era. But I guess to you guys, that's known as the Thatcher list, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole Thatcher thing was she was prime minister at the time in the UK. She had the nickname the Iron Lady. She was sort of a right-wing Tory party, along with another lady who wasn't a politician called Mary Whitehouse. And Mary Whitehouse she worked for the BBC, and she did sort of ratings for TV stuff. And she noticed a lot of this import of VHS that was coming in and films that were coming out. And she decided, after not seeing a single one of these films, that these films should be put on a ban list just because of the title of the film. So many films missed the net because the title didn't match what they were looking for, that some stuff got out and some stuff that got banned should never have got banned. And that was because of really a woman called Mary Whitehouse, who was probably in her 60s at the time. And she was quite the do-gooder in the UK. She also tried to get the UK porn industry closed down as well. At the same time, so much so there is a gentleman's magazine in the UK that is known as Whitehouse.
Oh wow!
Because of her, which is cool. So they were crazy times. But then, like, Thatcher was a fucking nut job anyway as a prime minister, and she caused all kinds of issues in the UK at the time. And that was like just a smidgen that she let some MPs run with it, and then MPs passed it down to civil servants, and civil servants just went fucking crazy with this thing, and they were just banning things left, right, and centre, having never seen any of it. They'd never watched any of it.
Yeah, from what I gathered from the documentary, it was literally like the Thatcher lady. She actually handed that down to like basically what you would call as like a servant. And then
civil servants.
Yeah, his job was to like, okay, we got to enforce this. The public has to go on our side, so we have to promote this to make it look like we're saving the youth.
Yeah,
and everything like that. So I always compare that to like the MPAA movement, like we had here. Not the MPAA, but like the Tipper Gore era we had here in the States, where I'm sure you've come across it, where we had like Twisted Sister and a lot of other metal and rap artists like who had to come and defend their music.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, she didn't win. She technically won, but she got that little parental advisory sticker put on the front of all these products, and it helped sell so much more. Yeah.
This did exactly the same thing. They was trying to keep these kind of films away from under 16s, under 18s, under 21s in certain circumstances, and all it did was make the hype for that film even more. So there was just bootleg copies of the damn thing everywhere. So if one person had a copy and it was bootlegged, everyone had a copy. So it just made it even worse. It didn't make it better. You know what I mean? It just made it more underground, and these films were everywhere. There's certain films that only came off certain lists, or certain cuts of films only came off certain lists. 2006, Zombie Flesh Eaters only got the complete uncut edition in 2006 in the UK. There's some films that have still never been released in the UK. It's still on the ban list, even now. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. When you look back at that ban list, some of those films that's on it just don't deserve to be there. You know what I mean? It's
72, correct?
Yeah.
What's crazy is, if you really think about it, is no matter what decade we live in or what generation it is, if you tell a teenager not to do something, what's the first fucking thing they're going to do?
They're going to do it. Yeah, of course they are. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's she thought she was helping, but did absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? It just well, the whole thing, video nasty. That phrase was coined by a daily newspaper, the Daily Mirror, in the UK. So they put it as it was, all this story was going out of control. It was a headline one morning on the newspaper, video nasties, and it just stuck. That name just stuck with it. So you can thank the Daily Mirror for that one.
Okay, so the Daily Mirror coined the term the video nasty.
Coined the term video nasty, and it's a paper that loads of people boycott now. You know what I mean? Because of other things as well as it's. It was a weird one. I sort of remember it happening. I wouldn't have been that old, though. I mean, at the time, I'd have been 4, I'd been 7. And I can remember going into the video shop, and we had a large video rental shop near us. And I would imagine all that stuff was readily available under the counter there. You know what I mean?
Do you recall? I mean, like, especially like with your parents or anything like that. Do you recall hearing any stories of like these unannounced raids and shutdowns and stuff like that? Like, what was some of the worst stories that you had heard that was just like, is this even real?
Yeah, I mean, one guy, he was London based somewhere, and he was actually a distributor. I can't think of the name of the company now. He distributed a couple of films that was on the ban list, and he was prosecuted and was jailed for 4 years. So he'd all his inventory stock taken from him, and it was all destroyed. But they didn't even look what his stock was. They just destroyed everything, just annihilated everything. And he got sentenced for 4 years before he went to retrial. And they said, "Look, it's gone too far, this kind of thing," and they let him out on appeal. So he ended up serving a 4-year sentence for something that he never should have been jailed for in the first place, for renting movies. You know what I mean? It was crazy. But I remember my dad talking about zombie flesh eaters the first time they saw zombie flesh eaters, and that would have been on the ban list at that particular time when my dad saw it. So my dad must have got a copy from somewhere. So the stuff was available. You know what I mean? It was still out there.
Gotcha.
It's just, I mean, if you have a look on eBay now, and if you can find any of these original companies that was putting this stuff out at the time, and if you can find any of their copies on it, they just go for crazy money. I mean, absolute stupid money. These first run VHSs now, especially the UK stuff from the DPP list. But there was 3 lists altogether. The first list, the DPP list, that was a complete ban, and then there was a second list, which was a list that was looking at banning at the time, and then a third list, which was an advisory list, which they thought maybe at some point would have come on. So if all the lists would have been put together, there'd have been nearly 150 titles, I think, that would have gone on altogether. But it was the original DPP list. There was the complete bans.
And that was the 72 titles, right?
That was the 72 titles, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But there was contemplating more. So if a film had either like blood in the title, or axe in the title, or cannibal in the title, they weren't even looking at what the film was. There's no one sat down and watched what that film was to determine whether it was bad. That was it, just straight on the ban list.
Gotcha.
Which is, you know what I mean? That's just crazy. I mean, you think about doing that this day and age, it's nuts. It would never happen.
It's one strange thing too is you can like go to YouTube and you'll try to get a little bit more perspective of everything that was going on at that time. And it seems like they take these 2 films and they constantly use these 2 films as examples constantly. And that's the first Evil Dead movie and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those 2 films, if you watch any documentary, any kind of piece together kind of history lesson, whatever it is, those films and the scenes in those films are constantly rotated in that documentary, like over and over again. You're like, wait a minute, that's 2 of like 72. Like, let's see the other stuff. And it shows Driller Killer. They'll show, like very fake stuff, but we don't get to see scenes from like, Don't Go Into the House. Really obscure kind of really stuff. that wound up on that list. House by the edge, House by the Edge of the Park.
Yeah.
That's another one. But you don't,
Absurd was another one.
But you don't really get to see those scenes like rotated in the mix. They use Evil Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't have one drop of blood in it.
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
Like, what are you going here with? Just the fact that somebody got attacked with a chainsaw, but there was really no gore whatsoever.
Yeah, it was the whole concept of the title of the word massacre.
There you go.
And that's what kicked it off. That's why it ended up on there. And again, no one's watching any of these titles. You know what I mean? Police would come in, raid, take all this stuff away, but no one had a clue what they was actually taking. You know what I mean? It was
miscommunication all the way. Just somebody
just one do-gooder, just one do-gooder trying to make a stand for herself, and just fucked it up for everybody. It was.
Could you imagine the response like they could have had if they would have saw, like, let's say, for example, if they would have actually seen the scene in its entirety of, like, let's say Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead, with the entrails scene coming out the mouth in the vehicle. Like, imagine if they would have saw that. They would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, there was like some Nazi exploitation stuff that obviously had the word Nazi in the title or whatever, that got banned. But other Nazi exploitation stuff that didn't have the word Nazi in the title just fly through the net, just went straight through.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You go, well, there's no standard because no one's watching anything. They're just rating it off a title. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably why you'll find, especially a lot of the Italian stuff coming into the UK at the time. That's why you'll find when you look back at these films now, they've got like 2 and 3 different names. So they'll be called other things for the simple reason is to just let it fly through the net. It would just got through. So if you called it something different, everyone knew what it was, but DPP would have gone, no, that's okay. That can go through.
And look at how many cuts those films had. There's some of those Italian films has like 4 different cuts to one film, and it's like, wait a minute, like for me to enjoy every cut of this film, it's going to take me 2 days.
Yeah. It's it is crazy, and they were, I suppose they were crazy times. You know what I mean? People were just trying to make a living. They were renting movies at the height of the VHS era when it first kicked off, and next thing people are getting arrested for it. You know what I mean? It's absurd, really, in this day and age.
Well, what's crazy is it's 40 years later, and like that, those titles that's on that list are still highly sought after. Like every time one of these boutique labels announce a video nasty, everybody's like, that's going in my collection.
Yeah. And if you look at that list now, probably I would imagine every title's been picked up. 88's got them, Arrow's got them, Scream's got them. You know what I mean? I would imagine like Pop doing his collection now should be able to have a good run at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I said, the only thing you'll find is nothing's going to be uniform because there's loads of different companies have picked them up, not just gone through one company. I
think I'm gonna reach out to Pop and tell him to try to save Island of Death for last on that list.
Yeah. It's the thing is on there as well. I can never pronounce it proper. Anthropophagus. Yeah. That's another one that's fucking crazy film. But he's it's a good line to go for. You know what I mean? If he's going for that line, then he's better off picking those up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, if that's what he's looking to do, then grab those because they are fantastic.
I referenced it to him just last week, and he's already picked them up. He was like, "I'm definitely."
Oh, he got them.
Yeah, I told him I was like, "You got to watch the documentary on Volume 1, like to get a really good sense of what you're going for here, and see how that came to be." So,
yeah, it's like I say, if it's not something you're accustomed to, or if you don't know the stories and stuff like that, getting into it's really interesting. I can't think of the guy's name. He's a film historian, British guy. You'll have seen him on some of these documentaries. He's always got a waistcoat on, long hair, weird mustache. Yeah.
Yep.
he's just the fountain of knowledge. He's brilliant on the subject, and if you can pick some of his books up or catch some of his documentaries and that, he's a, like I say, a fountain of knowledge. He's a great guy.
I was trying to think of his name too, because I did like a little bit. I did some extensive research on him because I have a lot of '88 film stuff and everything that has his. He's basically known as a historian.
Yeah.
Special features, but between him and I would say like Stephen Thrower, oh man, like those guys are just walking knowledge, man. Like
Yeah.
encyclopedias of any genre, pretty much, especially horror. Yeah, I got Stephen Thrower's book, man. That Nightmare USA, and that thing is. It's going to take me 5 years to read that book. There's so many films in there. I'm looking through there. I've never even heard of those films before. Never seen them. So yeah, I mean, it was just, but most of it's '80s, and it's just because it was just so saturated. So many films.
Yeah.
Nobody had a chance to watch all of them because there was just so many of them.
That is it. I mean, the amount of stuff to VHS when I was younger that came at a bargain price straight away. And I'd wish that I've kept all those VHSs over the years, and I've not. There was like I could go into what you class as a dollar store when I was younger and pick these titles up for what would be £1, and have loads of them, and just really weird, batshit crazy kung fu films and really weird horror films. And I've never come across any of it ever again on DVD, on Blu-ray, on nothing. Never seen it. And all those videos, I would have just thrown them away or left them at my parents' house when I moved out all those years ago, and they got skipped. And a lot of that stuff now would have been cream. You know what I mean? It would have been brilliant stuff to have.
Those are considered antiques at this point.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's to be a physical media collector, though, it's good times to be in. You know what I mean? I don't think we've ever had it as good. You know what I mean?
And who knows what the future is going to bring out of it, but enjoy it while you can. I always tell everybody here, like I know a lot of physical media collectors that still rely on going into an actual physical store to buy their stuff. Like here is a completely different story from where you are. We rely mostly on Best Buy, which, I mean, if you know what Best Buy is, they're doing away with physical media. They're trying to crunch every little section of it out of their store to expand computers and cell phones and TVs.
Yeah.
But as far as physical discs, it seems like every couple months that goes by, I walk back in the store and there's a big section of this missing. So it's definitely, you can call it a niche market because it's just very exclusive to so many. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've found in the UK, probably the last 18 months, is obviously you call it Walmart, we call it Asda over here. It's exactly the same company. The physical media aisles going smaller and smaller. And then the other sort of mainstream supermarkets in the UK, Tesco's, the physical media aisle's gone smaller and smaller. Another large chain called Sainsbury's, they've done away with their physical media aisle altogether. It just no longer exists. Which for us in the UK, supermarkets getting rid of this kind of thing is a good thing. It's not a bad thing for us in the UK, because places like HMV and places like FOP and places like Zavvi, I mean, there are still a couple of Zavvi stores left in the UK. That only makes these stores stronger, because at the one time, if HMV had a particular release in, say Escape from New York, come out on 4K, HMV would have added in for £25. I could have gone to Tesco's a bit further down the road, or Asda a bit further down, they'd have it for 20.
Okay.
So I was a supermarket, got it cheaper than what a mainstream physical media company has. So everyone went to these supermarkets. So then HMV and FOP were struggling because of this. And then, so for us now, for these supermarkets not stocking this kind of stuff anymore, it's helping us loads, because it's bolstering these companies like HMV and FOP, because that's where people are constantly going. So constantly people are buying, and these companies are thriving because of it.
Gotcha. Pretty much, they just eliminated some of the competition to get more customers in their door as opposed to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because HMV, was on its knees at one point completely. I mean, I think the business itself was sold for £1. The whole business was sold for £1 to, I can't think what company bought them out. And obviously they had to pick up the debt, and the debt was a lot. The debt was in like excess of 300 million, I think, at the particular time. They bought them out for £1, and since doing that, they've gone from strength to strength. So most HMV stores were closed for around 18 months, nearly 2 years in the UK. And then they reopened and sort of rebranded a little bit. And they're doing really well out of it now, especially with this kind of stuff that we're buying, because you can't buy it from anywhere else. There's nowhere on the high street got it apart from HMV or FOP. So people like myself and the guys locally to me that are into this kind of thing, we're just HMV knows it's. I've just pre-ordered Galaxy of Terror. 88 Films are putting out Galaxy of Terror. It comes out on Monday. I put my pre-order in for it. HMV in Wigan were getting 5 copies. That was it. That's the amount that was coming in. But all 5 have been took out on pre-order. So that they love that. That's sold from day one for them. It's gone. You know what I mean? It's not sitting on a shelf gathering dust.
Gotcha. That's a great Roger Corman film too, by the way. God almighty,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Great.
I mean, the whole Roger Corman thing I love.
Humanoids from the Deep is, oh man, that's just...
Humanoids from the Deep is currently on my eBay list. It's one I'm chasing on eBay currently. And I've got other, I've got other Roger Corman stuff. Where's the stuff up there? Barbarian Queen and films like that. Have you ever seen Barbarian Queen and all that kind of Roger Corman stuff? I love. But well, I tell you, my memory is terrible. Shout Factory put it out as a special edition not long back. Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
One of my favourite sci-fi films of all time. It is a fantastic film.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
That thing is beautiful.
It's brilliant. It's again ultra cheese. If you actually look on the front art of the original art on the poster, theatrical poster, 5 of the aliens that's on that theatrical poster are actually in the film.
Lovely.
You know what I mean? It's typical Roger Corman style. The soundtrack was used in other films. Certain sections of the film were used in other films. I think as well, if I'm not sure, on the standard DVD release or the standard Blu-ray release over here, the thumbnails that's on the back of the slip aren't even from that film. They're from another Roger Corman film.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just crazy how someone can get the wrong film on the back of a slipcover. It's but it's all in the style of Roger Corman, because that's what it is. It's brilliant.
The body of work he not only put out but produced, anything that had his name on it. The stuff he would put out it's gold, but man, did he dump a lot in a short amount of time while he was in the business that he was in. It's mind-boggling to look at the filmography just of everything he's produced. It's like good luck getting all of it, because it's just it's absurd how much there is of it. It's just
loads.
Unfortunately, there was so much of it too that couldn't be saved because none of the prints were ever preserved correctly, and they just went through deterioration over time. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a good bit of them, but thankfully, Shout Factory, Scream Factory, now 88 Films is dipping they're into it. Kino has dipped into it a little bit. But yeah, we get what we can, and that's great. But it's horrible to think though that something wasn't preserved, because it's lost forever now.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? He's in his early body of work as well. Some of it's fantastic, where he was directing, not just producing. It's great. But then the 80s come along, and the machine that was Roger Corman was just rolling them out. and really they're just B movie banger after B movie banger. You know what I mean? They are fantastic. Like this one here, I own a copy of this one as well. There we go. The Roger Corman Women in Prison films. So what's the two I've got there?
Was it Cage Heat?
Yeah, Cage Heat. What's the other one? There is another one. Birdcage. Yeah, Naked Cage. Yeah. The brilliant. And then, like I say, he put out a lot of sword and sorcery stuff. So he did Barbarian Queen, and he did. What's the other one up there? I can't see it. There's another Roger Corman sword and sorcery up there. This has never had a Blu-ray in the UK. Deathstalker.
Yeah.
It's a Roger Corman film. That's
there's a part 2 to that as well.
There's 3 altogether. I think there's 3 Deathstalker films. Yeah.
Okay.
One's good. So I think 2 and 3 are god awful.
I know. I think that was a double feature from Shout Factory for a while. Then it went out of print. They printed a few more. Once it's gone, and that was it.
Yeah, weren't they sort of like limited to 1,500 copies or 2,000 copies or something? I know they were really small print runs, weren't they?
It's usually 1,500 as well. Like sometimes it'll only be 1,000 for like the double feature ones that they reprint. And once those are gone, you get on eBay to go try to look them up, and it's like, do I really want that?
But no, mate. These are good times when films like this are still being brought out, and
absolutely
people spending the time to make a transfer look better, and you know what I mean, everything that you get with them.
Try to save it, because I mean, if they're not going to do it, then they're probably just going to sit in a warehouse somewhere and deteriorate some more. And who knows if I'll ever get to it and put it out. So.
And that's the thing with streaming now. You know what I mean? You can go to streaming services. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, we subscribe to streaming services at home, your Netflix and your Disney Pluses and all that. And there is some good content on it. But for it all, really, you know what I mean? You're never going to see anything, any of this on a streaming service. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen, especially here in the UK. I mean, you're quite lucky in the US. You know what I mean? You get things. What's the one that we watch films on from time to time? The free streaming service.
Tubi.
What was it? Tubi?
Yeah.
Great streaming service. Just not available in the UK. I have to use a VPN to get all of that kind of stuff. So the free streaming stuff in the UK like that is limited. You know what I mean? There isn't a great deal for it.
Gotcha.
What Tubi do for free? Yeah, it shows ads, but it's probably the best streaming service there is for it.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It is great, and it's good that they put on this kind of stuff, but Amazon's never going to put on any of this. You know what I mean? Netflix is never going to put any of this. Netflix is never going to show Deathstalker. You know what I mean? It's never going to happen.
Never.
And people come round to my house now, and they always want to look in the room and everything, and they always go, oh, "Fucking hell, man! Why have you got so much shit?" And I go, "Well, where else are you going to watch this stuff? You're never going to see it anywhere else." You know what I mean? If I want to watch, you know what I mean, Deathstalker, where am I going to watch Deathstalker apart from on the DVD I've got? It's never going to happen. It's
never.
And that's the world we live in. It's fast turnaround, fast films. You know what I mean? Here one day, gone the next. You know what I mean? It's a shame with a lot of the stuff that's coming to Disney, like The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and stuff like that. Those shows are outstandingly good. It's never going to see a physical release ever. Never. You know what I mean? Because Disney just don't need it.
They have enough money.
I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's even Disney films coming to cinema will be a thing of the past in a bit. You know what I mean? When you can rent a Disney film at home, brand new, for £15, but it's costing you £70 in the UK to go and watch a film at the cinema for a family of 4. What are you going to do? You're going to stay at home and pay £15. And
exactly.
Disney know this, and they've coined in on it.
They're a powerhouse though, man. Like
massive.
Nobody's going to beat Disney. Like they just. No. I mean, come on, man. They bought the Star Wars franchise. That alone, we're talking about $4 billion
Yep.
paycheck that George
Yep.
Lucas and them. It's like they can do it. That's just spare
Yeah.
change. It's nothing.
Marvel, everything they've done with when they bought Marvel out, that's exactly the same thing. It's just cash cow. You know what I mean? People are just throwing money at it. You know what I mean? And those Marvel films that come out, they can be as shit as you like, but they're still going to take millions at the box office because people are going to watch it. And it's just disposable film. In 20 years' time, is anybody going to go back and go, well, yeah, that's a classic that now. No, none of that's going to. There's none of this stuff ever going to be a cult classic.
What's crazy is those films automatically get $100 million budget right off the
Straight
top.
away.
They won't even have they probably don't even have a meeting or even a script be put in front of them unless they say, we're going to put $100 million into this. And it's like, wow. But that's Disney. Like, that's nothing to them, man. That's nothing.
Yeah. He just put Star Wars Rebels got a Blu-ray release that was very surprising. Yeah, I mean, Rebels is a decent enough show. The one that surprised me was that Disney have just put out was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers onto Blu-ray, which is brilliant. And I own the 3-disc box set down here on DVD. But the only reason that Disney have put that out onto Blu-ray is because they've got a new film coming out of it. So if they can bang that out on Blu-ray now and push it on the streaming service, then they've keyed everyone up for when the new film drops. That's all the only reason they've done it.
It's the smartest marketing, hands down.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? So people's going nuts. So yeah, we've got you know what I mean? Rescue Rangers on Blu-ray. Yeah, fucking that's it. But they've only done it as a marketing ploy, so you'll watch the new film. They just want to make it relevant again.
That's it. And there's money to be made, so why not?
You know what I mean? Mate, I am probably going to end this here because I am now just gone 1 o'clock, and in the morning I am going to a vintage emporium that's near us somewhere, and I'm going to waste some money on vintage things I don't need. So it's hopefully I can find some crap in there that I can't find anywhere else, and I definitely know there is some stuff in there that I want. So my parents are picking myself and my wife up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're heading on over there. So
awesome.
So I'm going to call it, mate.
All right, hey, that's great. Hey, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it, man.
Johnny, I've enjoyed it, mate. It's nice chatting with you, pal. It really is. It's I'll be dead honest with you, mate. I've been trying to do things like this for a while, and a UK audience is really difficult to find, mate. To this kind of thing for myself, it's more you guys from the US that I seem to either be chatting with or I've got more in common with. The guys from the UK, mate, doing this kind of thing are thin on the ground. There is not many, and there's not many on YouTube. So gotcha. If I've got to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning to join in crazy conversation with you, man, then that's what I'm doing.
Hey, like, let me get the StreamYard stuff squared away, man. I'll invite you over to mine. We'll do it on my channel too as well. Hey, it just helps people dial in. So hit that subscribe button, and that community grows. So
of course it does. So anybody that's watching now, or anyone that's been previously watching or is going to catch up on this, I will drop your YouTube tag in the bottom there in the comments on this once it goes to my channel, so they can find you. Anybody that's watching now, go and check out Johnny's channel. Just look for Johnny Walker and the little thumbnail that looks like the Arrow video logo, and that's how you'll find him. And go and check him out. It's Johnny's got some better shit than I have. Put it that way. So. Dude, it's been good.
We just have too much fun, man.
That's what it is, mate. That's what I enjoy about it. It is good fun. You know what I mean? There's a good community on here. It's quite close knit, and I've never found any shit going on here. I only find positive things. You know what I mean? I do social media. I don't really do Facebook anymore. It's just a cesspit of fucking negativity. Instagram I don't mind, but YouTube, mate, I found a nice home here with it, and everyone seems super positive about stuff when you show things or talk about things. So long may it rain.
Yeah, man, it's great to, especially too, whenever you have like a new pickup or something that somebody's not familiar with, and somebody dials in, it's like, hey, can you kind of go over that a little bit or anything? And it's like, Hell yeah, like that's awesome. Somebody else is interested in the same shit I am.
Yeah, it's cool. It's I get a kick out of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man, absolutely.
But mate, it's been lovely talking to you.
Awesome, man. Glad to do
Take
it.
care, mate. Cheers, dude, and we'll speak soon.
Cheers, bud.
Take care, mate. I'll see you later.
All right, man.
Bye bye.